title shot is right around the corner, so beating Weidman is going to get me there.
My goal tonight is to completely dominate Mousasi, make a statement to the rest of the division, let them know that I'm back, and I'm going to be getting the belt very soon.
Tonight, I'm just ready to go out there and do my thing, do my best, and DC will find out who the real Rumble is.
I'm excited to fight Anthony Johnson again tonight. You know, the guy would be a phenomenal champion. It's unfortunate that him and I are fighting at the same time, so he never gets to wear the strap.
Well, the New York floodgates are officially open for mixed martial arts, and the UFC live events keep on coming. 17 miles from Niagara Falls. We're in Buffalo, where soon all roads lead to the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship. Live inside KeyBank Center in Buffalo, New York, USA, this is UFC 210, Cormier versus Johnson 2. Closed captioning is available for tonight's telecast. Tonight's SAP is brought to you by UFCEspanol.com. Tonight's broadcast is available in 100% Spanish. As always, the pleasure is ours. Thank you for being with us. This is UFC 210. So 2 years ago, they fought for the vacant UFC light heavyweight title. Anthony Johnson was to face John Jones. Instead, it was Daniel Cormier, who seized the moment, the belt, and the spotlight. Since DC has retained the title and Rumble has rumbled. 3 straight wins, all by knockout, all of them serving to position him for another crack at DC, and of course, that elusive UFC gold. My broadcast partners tonight, couple of legends, the great Joe Rogan, former UFC bantamweight champ Dominic Cruz. So the rematch was to go down at UFC 206 in December. Little delay, here we are tonight.
I'm so happy it's going down because there's been so much that's happened since the first fight. First of all, Rumble has emerged as an almost unstoppable force. And the way he's been able to take out tough veterans like Glover Teixeira with one shot, Ryan Baderman, what he's been able to do inside the octagon is show massive improvement and set a clear example of who is the #1 contender in this division.
No doubt about it. It is Daniel Cormier, though, who has the belt. He's 18-1, and at 38 years old, Dom, still hungry.
And he's still taking that one-hitter quitter shot of Anthony Rumble Johnson. And we've seen him take that punch, bounce back up, and go back and get the finish. Can he do that again? Facing a guy like Rumble with the precision, power, and striking, can DC weather the early start, mix in his grappling with his striking, use that single leg that he uses so effectively to toss people around? Can he do that to Anthony Rumble Johnson with the power that he possesses? I think this is going to be a great fight. I think people might be sleeping on it, but don't, because it's probably not going to go too long. I think somebody's getting finished early tonight.
And the key is going to be weathering the storm for Daniel Cormier, the storm that is Rumble Johnson. Rumble Johnson is the scariest knockout artist in the history of the light heavyweight division. There's no debate about it. He possesses just unbelievable power, the likes of which you never see. He's capable of taking out guys like Glover Teixeira with one shot, guys with iron chins. He has just truly substantial knockout power.
Some definite intensity on the stage yesterday at the weigh, and these guys have a mutual respect. Tonight, though, they put it all on the line. Speaking of putting it all on the line, this co-main event has so much traction with fight fans. Evenly matched middleweights here, both guys in the top 5. Gegard Mousasi taking on the New Yorker Chris Weidman.
It's a very, very important fight for the middleweight division, which is wide open right now, and a hugely important fight for the former champion, Chris Weidman. This is the first time in his career he's coming off 2 back-to-back losses against Luke Rockhold, and then, of course, in his last fight against Yoel Romero. He wants to do what he did all of his career, dominate and win, and he especially wants to do it here in New York State. With this fight in Buffalo, New York, Chris Weidman wants to send a huge message against Gegard Mousasi.
Hometown or not, though, you're facing somebody with over 40 fights in the octagon, tons of experience. Gegard Mousasi is nobody that you can just walk through. Outstanding submission ability from the top and bottom. He gets up, nobody just out-wrestles him and kills him. He also can mix in the striking better than anybody with his own takedowns and his grappling offense. This is not somebody you want to take lightly. Gegard Mousasi is hard to deal with.
50th professional fight for Gegard Mousasi here tonight, and I know, Joe, as you and Dana said on FS1, this type of opportunity will gain Mousasi the respect he so craves.
It certainly will, but it is such a pick-em fight. It's impossible to pick, and I can't wait to watch it.
And thankfully, you don't have to make a prediction. Well, we are sold out in Buffalo, New York tonight. They are happy to have the octagon here. Several great matchups coming your way tonight. All right, here's a quick look at the rest of the card. In the welterweight division, a matchup of former world title challengers as American top team's Thiago Alves makes his 22nd UFC appearance against Canadian Patrick Cote. Cote has been on the roster since 2004, but he's still getting it done. He'll try to make it 4 wins in his last 5 here tonight. Also on tap in the strawweight division, it'll be the second pay-per-view appearance in as many months for Cynthia Calvillo. She made good on her UFC debut and now will try to spoil one. That of talented newcomer Pearl Gonzalez, who brings a 6-fight winning streak into this UFC debut. And coming up next, we'll get our third look inside the octagon at lightweight contender Ill Will Brooks. The American top team staple entered the UFC with much fanfare last year, and he's got a good challenge in front of him tonight as he looks to kickstart a title run. That challenge comes in the form of the UFC-tested Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira. Oliveira debuted in the UFC prior to his 21st birthday back in 2010, and tonight, after a 12-fight run at featherweight, he returns to his old stomping grounds at 155 pounds. All right, let's get to the rules of the octagon. 3 judges score the bout. The bout duration is 3 5-minute rounds. For championship fights and all main events, we go 5 5-minute rounds. A 10-point must-scoring system is in effect. Round winner gets 10 points, his or her opponent 9 or fewer, and scoring is based on effective striking and grappling, followed by aggression, and then octagon control in that order. And we can also let you know the changes to the unified rules of MMA for 2017 have been adopted by the New York State Athletic Commission. So among those things you might want to look out for tonight, redefined rules on a grounded opponent, so single hand now considered a standing fighter. Also a foul on the fingers outstretched toward an opponent. We saw that rear its head during the prelims. And 10-8 rounds. Again, a theme of the prelims tonight. You win the round by a large margin. Figure to see more liberal 10-8s than we have seen in the past. The New York State Athletic Commission has adopted these rules. The fighters, of course, have been made aware. All right, with that, we are ready to go with the main card. Good to have you with us on pay-per-view. Under the radar no more. Will Brooks got the spotlight when he signed with the UFC last year. Now another opportunity against a formidable UFC staple, Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira. The unrelenting lightweight division will see the return of a familiar face tonight, as Brazil's Charles Oliveira makes his move back up from 145 pounds to begin his quest for championship gold. And he will do so against a fighter hungry to secure his own octagon glory in Ill Will Brooks.
Cara, sou perigoso em qualquer uma categoria. Treino duro, me dedico e quero vencer. Fighting me tonight is going to be difficult for Charles Oliveira, especially him coming back to the lightweight division. I'm not a warm-up fight for anybody. I'm a jump right into the deep end fight for somebody, and I'm willing to drown somebody. I'm a shark in the water.
of a 9-1 record spanning his last 10 bouts, Chicago's Will Brooks is entering his fighting prime. And the timing appears ideal for the dynamic lightweight, who kicked off his UFC career last July with a win over veteran Ross Pearson. Tonight, the challenge gets stiffer and the stakes get raised against Oliveira.
Fighting Charles tonight is a great matchup. I think he's a talented fighter. He's ranked in the featherweight division right now, I think in the top 10. So this would be a great opportunity for me to invite him back to the lightweight division and also put myself back into the rankings with a victory over him.
One of the most exciting competitors in the UFC today. Charles Oliveira fought his first 5 UFC fights at 155 and picked up 3 post-fight bonuses in the process. Tonight, though, following a 12-fight stint in the featherweight division that saw him soar into the top 10, he is back home to battle Brooks.
Tô bem mais forte, bem mais focado. Eu quero muito essa luta, eu quero muito vencer. E agora é o meu momento, minha hora.
When he's on.
All right, Joe, here is Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira. For my money, this is one of the most active and accurate submission pursuers we have ever seen make this walk.
Yeah, he's got a very complex Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu ground game. He's won by calf slicer, guillotine, rear naked choke. Very, very, very tricky on the ground. And just was really struggling to make that 145-pound limit. It was draining him, it was taking away from his performance, and he had to make the decision to move up. I think it's the right decision. I think it's excellent. I wish more fighters would do it.
Right.
And I predict that we're going to see a more energized and a more focused Charles Oliveira. A guy that doesn't have to deal with just the massive dehydration and rehydration, but instead deals with the skills of his opponent, which in Will Brooks tonight, he has a very formidable one.
Well, he's facing a bigger, stronger Will Brooks, and the only time he's gotten beaten is by being out-wrestled and not able to get the submission, which makes this a tough matchup. That being said, he told me he actually wants to win this fight to prove he can fight at 155 and give himself another chance to cut to 145. He says he likes that weight class better, he feels better at that weight class, he says he has the strength advantage at that weight class in his opinion. He's proven it's hard for him to make it, though. So
yeah,
that's up to him if he can actually make that cut from here on out as a professional or not.
Well, I go to the Kelvin Gastelum situation. It's what Kelvin had said as well, but look at Kelvin at 185.
Right.
He's a destroyer. He just took out
Cowboy
Vitor
at
Belfort.
70.
Exactly. Same
I see
thing.
what you see.
Yes.
You got to get the fighter to believe they're okay at these weight classes, and that's always up to them.
Well, yes, Oliveira certainly has hinted this could be a one-fight deal, but 7-4 at 145 pounds. He missed weight 4 times. So the present for him right now is at 155 here against Will Brooks. This guy's been a bonus machine. I mean, you talk about the highlights, the calf slicer, only one we've seen in the UFC. 9-time UFC bonus winner Charles Oliveira, the underdog tonight against Will Brooks.
Let's go! Let's go!
All right, so here's Will Brooks, 18 up and 2 down for a mixed martial arts career that dates to 2011. 3rd UFC appearance for Brooks after a fight against Cowboy Oliveira did not go his way back in October in Portland.
He's a very, very solid fighter. We really saw that with the Ross Pearson fight. The Cowboy Oliveira fight was particularly upsetting to him because Oliveira came in way overweight. He took the fight anyway and just really felt like it was unfair. Will Brooks is a guy who I had my eye on for many years before he entered the octagon. He did fantastic in other organizations, and he's just got all the tools to be a world-class professional mixed martial arts fighter. And I'm really interested to see how he matches up against the talented submission artist in Oliveira. And Oliveira is also very sneaky and very technical on the feet.
I want to piggyback on that because that's exactly what Will Brooks said all week. He said, Oliveira's striking is high level, everybody overlooks it, and he feels like that's the area he needs to be the most concerned. So Rogan knows his stuff. Dom, your thoughts on Will Brooks?
I mean, you can't really argue with anything Rogan just said. The only thing that we've seen Oliveira really get beat on is by getting wrestled and held down. Will Brooks knows that, and Oliveira knows he's got to keep this fight standing. It's pretty simple for these guys to understand their route to the path of least resistance in order to get the win.
Initially, Will Brooks was offered a fight against Anthony Pettis. That was the fight he really wanted. Ultimately, Pettis had some medical issues to deal with. So it will be Will Brooks and Charles Oliveira. Brooks, a long list of big wins, big fight experience, 5-round experience, won a major title outside the UFC. We'll see how it goes for him tonight against Charles Oliveira. All right, with that backdrop, let's get to the tail of the tape for this one. 3 rounds if needed in the UFC's ruthless lightweight division. Will Brooks, 30 years old. Charles Oliveira, still just 27. Both men 5'10" tall. 155 to hook for Will Brooks, 153 for the former featherweight Charles Oliveira, who will have a reach advantage of 2 inches. Now for the official introductions, the veteran voice of the Octagon, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the KeyBank Center in Buffalo, New York for UFC 210, Cormier versus Johnson 2. And now, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter holding a professional record, 21 wins, 7 losses, 1 no contest. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing in at 153 pounds. Fighting out of Houston, Texas, by way of Sao Paulo, Brazil, presenting the number 9 ranked featherweight contender in the world, Charles "The Bronx" Oliveira! And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 18 wins, 2 losses. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing in at 155 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Coconut Creek, Florida, by way of Chicago, Illinois, Will Brooks. And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Big John McCarthy.
Big John McCarthy, our referee, and of course he was in the building in 1995 at UFC 7, the Brawl in Buffalo, last time we were here. Folks, stay ready on Twitter tonight. We will have voting polls throughout the UFC 210 main card. The handle is @UFC. If for some reason you are not following already.
You ready? Get up.
All right, ready to go. Will Brooks is in the blue trunks. Charles Oliveira wearing the gold. Brooks' UFC debut against Ross Pearson really used all his weapons well. Looking to get back to that tonight. And when you see the length of Charles Oliveira, it's no wonder he struggled to make that 146-pound limit at featherweight.
Good left kick to the body by Brooks. He digs with a left hook. Look at this. Oliveira takes him down. And again, Oliveira has a nasty submission game. Very technical.
19 finishes for Charles Oliveira in his 21 career wins, and 8 of his last 9 wins have come by way of submission. So starting to pile up of late.
Especially with Oliveira's habits, I would see Will Brooks looking to lead up with his head, and Oliveira would go to the front chokes. Will Brooks tries to get up to his feet here.
Will is trying to get up to his feet right now. Oliveira stepping over the legs, clamping down around his lower back, extending that left leg of Brooks. And let's see if Brooks can wall walk. It looks like he's going to make it up. He's back up and he eats a knee. And wow,
very good tight waist.
I mean, right away, Oliveira looks so much stronger.
Yeah, that's in.
It's in.
No,
moving
not
up
quite.
to
He's got the
140.
chin in. Will Brooks has that chin in there barely, but this is where you see Oliveira work the best. He's so sneaky at getting those wrists underneath the chin.
And this is where he submitted Efrain Escudero in his UFC debut. Same sort of situation.
And he can get the choke right here, like
and he can get it.
Does.
Yep. He's got it in deep here.
That'll hurt
Will
Brooks
is in deep, deep trouble here. Deep trouble. He's going to go out.
That's it. He's got it. That choke's done.
Brooks fighting hard here.
Wow. This is intense. Will is barely staying conscious here. He's tapping. That's it. We got him.
Charles Brooks Oliveira
Outstanding.
returns to 155 with flying colors. What a reaction celebration from the team. George Makako, huge win for Charles Oliveira tonight.
Some nasty jiu-jitsu, like we were saying, and look how strong he looks at 155. Someone who speaks Portuguese, talk to this young man.
I have to agree with Joe. He needs to understand how his body works, and he think he might be getting the confidence he needs. I mean, he just beat a bigger, stronger wrestler. The normal style that gives him the worst trouble, he finished the fastest.
He took him down as well. He initiated the grappling. It was just a beautiful performance by Charles Oliveira.
This fight replay is brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you.
That's what you... I don't...
And we look at this finish here. He's got the hooks in. He throws it right over the chin. If you have a good enough jiu-jitsu game, you understand whether the chin's in or not. Once you get that lock behind the head, you can squeeze and break that jaw right in half. Oliveira knew he had the choke in. He just had to wait it out. Beautiful finish by Oliveira. He looked amazing at 155 pounds.
Incredible.
One of his best performances.
I mean, this is a guy who submitted Darren Elkins in 41 seconds in his UFC debut when he was 20 years old. We've seen him evolve, take on some of the best fighters in the world. Perhaps the biggest win of Charles Oliveira's career comes tonight in Buffalo, New York. All right, the official decision is brought to you by Metro PCS. Get a fast nationwide 4G LTE network for only $30 period. Wireless, figured out. Now Bruce Buffer with that decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee John McCarthy has called a stop to this contest at 2 minutes, 30 seconds of the very first round. Declaring the winner by submission due to a rear naked choke, Charles Oliveira.
My man, I'm here with the winner, Charles Oliveira. Charles, fantastic performance tonight. I know that you have spent many of the last fights at 145 pounds. How did it feel to fight at 155 tonight?
Eu sei que muitas das últimas lutas foram de 145 libras. Como se sentiu fazer uma luta de 155 libras?
Primeiramente, toda a honra e toda a glória é dada ao meu Senhor Jesus Cristo. Pessoal, eu não quero ficar nessa categoria, eu quero voltar de novo para minha categoria, onde eu quero ser campeão. Joey, por favor, Chechel, me dá essa oportunidade de voltar de novo.
First of all, I want to thank God, the rest of my family, my wife, everyone that has supported me.
All right, Charles, take a look at the big screen. This is a beautiful submission victory. You got his back standing up. You initiated the takedown, but once you got his back standing up, you sunk in the hooks, got that choke, and even without the arm going in under the chin, you were able to get the tap.
Olha a pantalla ali, você conseguiu levar ele ao chão e você bem rápido conseguiu fazer isso.
Cara, olha só. Macaco, vem aqui. Olha só. Nas minhas últimas 2 lutas, eu fui finalizado. Cara, esse cara aqui, agora nós que eu tô treinando no Barbosa, ele falava, minha pressão é pressão o tempo todo. Cara, eu sou o melhor jiu-jitsu que tem dentro do UFC na minha categoria. Eu posso finalizar qualquer um. Eu acredito no que ele tá falando e não onde que eu tô treinando agora no Mestre Barbosa. Entrou aqui dentro, é tempo ruim o tempo todo, tanto em pé quanto no chão. É nóis.
Man, I'm the best there is in jiu-jitsu. I brought everything. I was able to do what I came here to do. I'm the best in jiu-jitsu.
I hope you stay at 155 pounds, and congratulations, sir, on a spectacular victory.
Filha, o pai tá chegando, espera eu, amor. Nós vencemos. Aqui é chutebox, tamo junto, é nóis. Hey, valeu, galera, todo mundo, brigadão por tá torcendo. Tamo junto, Jesus em primeiro lugar, vê só, ele tá voltando. Se você não acreditar nele, você vai ficar pra trás. Hey!
Charles Oliveira, ladies and gentlemen.
Now in a tie for second all-time in terms of submission wins in the history of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Heady stuff from Charles "Dude Bronx" Oliveira here tonight in Buffalo, New York. Well, the Bills are well represented tonight. Pro Football Hall of Famer, 1991 NFL MVP, Thurman Thomas, 34's in the building tonight, as are several of the players on the current roster. Tyrod Taylor there, a couple of his old linemen, Richie Incognito, Eric Wood, Patrick DeMarco in the building. Good to have the Bills here tonight for the UFC's return to Buffalo, New York. UFC 210, Cormier versus Johnson 2 is brought to you by Budweiser, this Bud's for you, and by Metro PCS. Get a fast nationwide 4G LTE network for only $30 period. Wireless figured out. The main event fighter arrivals are brought to you by Harley-Davidson. See your dealer today and learn to ride like some of your favorite UFC fighters with Harley-Davidson Riding Academy. Live your legend. And there he is, the undisputed UFC light heavyweight champion of the world, Daniel Cormier. It was a seamless transition to mixed martial arts for the two-time United States Olympic wrestler, now 18-1 for his MMA career. DC is healthy and ready to cement his legacy by successfully defending his title for a second time. And he will try to do so against a familiar opponent and the consensus biggest power threat on the roster, Anthony "Rumble" Johnson. His highlight reel is the stuff of legend, but the signature championship win has eluded him thus far. Tonight, Rumble can change that narrative with finality and head south as the new UFC light heavyweight king.
Never give in. This is the lesson. Never give up. Never give in. Never back down. Never, never, never.
The Ultimate Fighter Redemption cast includes many names you've heard of: Joe Stevenson, James Kraut, Dom's boy Seth Brzezinski, and many more. The coaches: Fire, Bantamweight champ Cody Garbrandt, former champ TJ Dillashaw. The 2-hour season premiere Wednesday, April 19th at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific on FS1. Well, the 2017 UFC Hall of Fame induction ceremony will emanate from Las Vegas's Park Theater. It'll be Thursday, July 6th. As part of the 6th annual UFC International Fight Week, and at this time, we are proud to announce the first member of the class of 2017, joining Forrest Griffin and BJ Penn in the modern era wing of the UFC Hall of Fame, a man who made a massive contribution to the sport and the UFC.
What will be your lasting memory of Uriah Faber? For the last decade, the California Kid has done it all. He stood toe-to-toe with the best in the world. He reached the highest highs and earned the unwavering respect of his peers. What will it be that stands out most in such a storied career? Will it be at WEC 19 when he fought Cole Escovedo for the featherweight title and announced his arrival with the first punch he threw? That punch was symbolic of everything to come. Was it when he tapped out Dominic Cruz at WEC 26 in his backyard of Sacramento? Or that just when we dubbed him a submission specialist, he stunned Jens Pulver with a right hand? Maybe it was that he put Sacramento on the map with his gym, Team Alpha Male, which helped launch so many careers.
I think everyone has drawn a little inspiration from Uriah, even from the outside. So being on the inside personally and drawing inspiration from him every day for 10 years, it's definitely just impacted my life and my career hugely, knowing the guy.
Team Alpha Male has been a big part of my success, but it's also been a part of what I'm giving back to the sport. It's created some of the best fighters in the world, some of the most notable fighters in the world, and it's really a big extended family. So it's something that I can be a part of, helping that next generation of fighters, you know, get to that top level and have a lot of success inside and outside the octagon.
Perhaps you'll remember the lights dropping, the crowd rising, and Tupac's California Love blaring over the speakers. Maybe you'll remember the cornrows, and how could you forget the surfer attitude, never needing to be angry at an opponent to sell a fight. Was it that he was more than a 5-time defending champion in the cage, but also a champion for his teammates? even after a tough night.
TJ Dillashaw is a up-and-coming guy. If anyone deserves a shot, man, you know, give it to him.
He didn't always win, but he was never anything other than dignified in defeat. He ducked no one, whether it was a prospect,
He's got the guillotine. It's all over.
a champion, or a name nobody wanted to fight. Though the game changed in the decade that he competed, the California Kid was always himself.
Uriah Faber is a legend, man. Big staple in the sport. Kind of the pioneer for us little guys.
He's probably one of the most successful bantamweights in the world that we've ever seen.
He is everything that you aspire to be when you want to become a fighter.
Whatever your memories are of Faber, know this. There is no wrong answer. He left his mark in a very difficult game, and he did it all with a smile.
Nod to our production team for that outstanding feature, and congratulations to the soon-to-be Hall of Famer, the former WEC featherweight champion Uriah Faber, accomplished, classy every step of the way, and Dominic, his chief rival, so I guess this means you're getting in, so we'll congratulate you on that, but in all seriousness, this is a distinction that Uriah Faber is certainly worthy of, and I know you're happy to see him get it.
Yeah, no, it's great to see guys who had to fight people that nobody knew, everybody knew him, and he had to take all the chances for a lot of us, you know, and he built a lot of us because we got a shot to fight him. Beating him made you relevant a lot of times earlier in this sport, you know, and the biggest thing we didn't really get along on very much of anything, but the one thing we did get along on is this has to be bigger than yourself, and that's something he's done. He's given back to the sport so much. He's given back to his gym and all these guys that he's put forth. He's put forth a lot of guys into this sport at the lighter weight classes and the heavier weight classes that are doing great things. So when you make something bigger about yourself, great things happen, and that's something that I'll always share with him and agree with him on.
Yeah, that's one of the most important things that he did, is he made the lighter divisions popular. He was so dynamic and so exciting when he was in the WEC. It's one of the reasons why the UFC picked up the lighter weight classes.
Yeah.
It's because it was proven that guys like Uriah Faber could be massively popular, and that's one of the reasons why we have some of the most technical fights in the UFC today, because of those lighter divisions and because of guys like Uriah Faber making it more popular.
And fittingly, Tupac's California Love blaring through the arena here in Buffalo tonight. We can also tell you more announcements on that class of 2017 will come your way in the weeks to come. The Hall of Fame ceremony, Thursday, July 6th. So not Sunday this year, Thursday. It'll be part of this year's UFC International Fight Week. Always a highlight, of course, of any fight fan's calendar. It'll also showcase 2 huge nights of action at Las Vegas's T-Mobile Arena. The Ultimate Fighter finale, Friday, July 7. That's on FS1. And the following night, Saturday, July 8. One of the hottest events of the summer, UFC 213, only on pay-per-view. Congratulations to Uriah Faber. He'll be in the Hall of Fame come the 6th of July. But now, 2 of the most respected fighters in the UFC, Thiago Alves and Patrick Cote, have earned their stripes tonight. They look to add to their respective legacies as they face off for the first time. 2 of the welterweight division's most respected veterans will finally meet tonight. And the stand-up sparks are expected to fly when Patrick Cote takes on Thiago Alves in a pivotal bout for both sides.
You know, Thiago is a veteran, and putting him on my winning list, it's gonna be great.
We're both very dangerous, opponents. We're veterans in the game, but I know I'm gonna finish him.
Canada's Patrick Cote was a longtime middleweight stand-up, but the former Ultimate Fighter competitor and coach appears to have found his true home at welterweight, where he has won 5 of 7 bouts, including recent back-to-back finishes of Joshua Berkman and Ben Saunders.
I don't see this fight going to the judges. I see this fight, finishing in the second round in my favor. Probably knock him out, but you know what? I'm very comfortable to submit him.
Returning to welterweight after a cup of coffee at lightweight against Jim Miller back in November, Brazil's Thiago Alves is back at his optimum weight and eager to show off the pitbull form that has produced 13 UFC wins, including triumphs over Matt Hughes, Josh Koscheck, Seth Baczynski, and Jordan Meade.
Tonight the pitbull is back and it's hungrier than ever. Stay tuned and don't blink.
The Canadian Patrick Cote all fired up as he makes the walk tonight for his 21st UFC appearance. This is a man who has been at this a very long time. Turned pro in 2002, a full-time fighter dating to 2004. And since he's dropped to this welterweight division, Joe, we've seen some of his best form, 5-2 at 170 pounds, dating to 2013.
Well, as he's gotten older, he's gotten much more technical, and his ground game has improved substantially. But a lot of people don't remember that Patrick Cote began his career in the UFC fighting Tito Ortiz at UFC 50. That's how long this guy's been in the game.
He was 24 years old at the time of that UFC debut in 2004. Went the distance, of course, up a couple of divisions. Dom, your thoughts on the evolving Patrick Cote we've seen over the last few years?
When I talked to Cote, the biggest thing that I took from him is that he's fighting this fight with a selfish mindset. He said in the past he was always fighting to support his coaches, support his teammates, and do something for them. He said, with a new child, 6-month-old daughter, it changed his whole mindset. He said, I need to be selfish. The more selfish I am, I end up handling all my coaches, all my teammates, and my family in one shot if I focus on myself. Make this a selfish time for me. Don't try to impress anybody. Do it for me. And I think with that mindset, he can have a ton of success.
It's a 5-tool guy, good power, especially in this 170-pound division, plus submission skills, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Comes in tonight having won 10 of his last 13 overall. And he's also been a guy that's been one of the more durable fighters on the roster. That durability finally failed him against Donald Cerrone his last time out. But Cote has won 3 of his last 4 wins over Joe Riggs, Joshua Berkman, and Ben Saunders both fell in his wake. And now an opportunity tonight against Thiago Alves to get one of the bigger wins in his 20, now 21 fight UFC career. Also north of 20 UFC fights, here is Thiago Alves, former UFC welterweight title challenger, making his 22nd UFC appearance, longtime American top team staple. And every time this guy fights and you break down his bio and his resume, you realize just how accomplished a welterweight this has been inside the octagon.
He was a spectacular welterweight, but, you know, he had gone through a series of pretty serious injuries, took a long time off, and then decided at one point in time that maybe at this stage of his career, it'd be a worthy attempt at least to try to make lightweight. He didn't make the division, didn't make the weight, was significantly weakened, lost that fight to Jim Miller, and decided to regroup and go back up to 170, where, I mean, you look at some of the more amazing performances, particularly like his KO victory of Matt Hughes. You got to go, well, look, this is a devastating 170-pounder, a Muay Thai wrecking machine. And when Thiago Alves is healthy, when he's motivated and he's in shape, he's a very, very dangerous fighter. And that's the Thiago Alves I expect to see tonight against Patrick Cote. Thiago with his back against the wall.
Right. Thiago Alves, a lot of people said wasn't the same after those hint of injuries and after the layoff, but he says, you know, it was the dedication and the focus wasn't quite where it could have been. He says being a father of an 8-month-old has really changed his mindset in the sense of focus, of living a professional life, living a healthy life, going home after training, being with his family, going back to training twice a day. There's no teetering off of what he needs to do to be the best. And he said being a father has made him better. He feels more prepared, more focused, not out there partying, not doing anything fun. Just being a father and fighting has made him better, and he's going to be better than ever in this fight against Cote.
All right, here's the tail of the tape. Couple of welterweight veterans here. Thiago Alves, 33 years old. Patrick Cote, 37 as of February 29. Cote 2 inches taller. Alves fights a lot longer than that, 5'9". 170 and a hook for Thiago Alves, 170 on the nose for Patrick Cote, who has a reach advantage of 1 inch. All right, now for the particulars, the venerable Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 24 wins, 10 losses. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall, weighing in at 170 pounds. Fighting out of Montreal, Quebec, Canada, Patrick the Predator Cote! And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 26 wins, 11 losses. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighing in at 170.5 pounds. Fighting out of Coconut Creek, Florida, Thiago Pitbull Alves. And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Todd Anderson.
Todd Anderson, our referee for this one at 170. The beautiful Ariane Celeste is with us. Glad you are too on pay-per-view UFC 210. Daniel Cormier, Anthony Rumble Johnson shortly to compete for the UFC light heavyweight title. All right, with that touch of gloves, we are underway. Thiago Alves is in yellow, Patrick Cote in the Canadian red. Alves made his pro debut all the way back in 2001 against Gleison Tebow in his native Fortaleza.
In the past, Thiago Alves found all his range with low kicks and the jab early. Can he do that against a taller Patrick Cote? Will the jab be used as well? That's what we'll have to find out when it comes to Alves.
Cote with a very light front leg. That's unusual to see him with that. Adopting a Muay Thai style himself and landed the first leg kick of the fight.
Well, if you see the way Alves takes out the lead leg, that's why he's light on the lead leg. He knows Alves is going to attack it, and right away.
Classic Muay Thai style, but Alves just chopped down on it. And Alves has some of the best leg kick technique in the business.
What makes it so good is he commits to it. He sets it up perfectly with punches and leans into it. He doesn't lean back when he throws it. Very clean technique.
Came in second all-time to Donald Cerrone in terms of leg kicks landed in the UFC, 255 and counting.
That hurts just thinking about it.
Oh.
Nice inside leg kick there by Cote.
At times for Alves, he's just been out of sight, out of mind. 5 fights, in 5 years since 2012, as he eats the right hand there from Patrick Cote. Both of these fighters have competed for UFC titles. Cote up a division against Anderson Silva, and Thiago Alves against George St. Pierre at UFC 100. Oh, nice knee.
Yeah. Beautiful job there by Thiago with the clinch. He clipped Cote, and Cote's moving back.
Counter combination from Cote out of range, though. Now he kicks the body. 2 minutes gone by here, round 1. That'll work.
Heavy
Alves
leg
counters,
kick by Alves.
We've seen Thiago Alves go to the counter more at this stage of his UFC career, not always leading the dance. Saw him counter early tonight against Cote.
You're seeing Cote's knee turn inside. That's how you know Alves is going to start beating up the outside of his leg. Anytime Cote's knee turns in, he's going to beat the outside. Anytime Cote's knee turns out, you're going to see Alves go to the inside of the leg. And it's just a constant guessing game, and you just don't want your leg getting eaten up by Alves.
Well, Thiago Alves looks sharp here in the early goings.
Cote with the right hand over the top.
Patrick Cote, slight betting favorite here tonight. We've seen him wrestle more in this welterweight division.
It's hard to believe it. Thiago's only 33 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, we remember him back when he fought Spencer Fisher. He was 20 when he made his UFC debut.
UFC Fight Night 2.
That's crazy.
Both these gentlemen have been fighting forever, it seems.
Dom, you think Cote the more likely guy to go to the takedown here early tonight?
I think he should look for the takedown. He's got the size advantage. I think he needs to hang on Alves to have a better success with his striking as well.
And that gets Thiago Alves the early knockdown. We'll see what he can do with it.
One thing that's always worked for Cote is his durability.
Thiago slides that right knee through, gets on top in half guard.
Cote's just buying time. Getting his head back, and then you'll see him start moving more to get off his back. He does a good job getting off his back, Cote. Let's see if he can do something. He needs a right underhook, and he's going to get up from here.
Hold it, don't pinch. There you go.
Well, one thing that's really improved greatly in Patrick Cote's career over the last few years has been his ground game.
And he's got the right underhook, but Alves doing a good job grabbing that top leg to keep the pressure.
Elbows here from Thiago Alves. That knockdown, his 12th in welterweight competition. That's good for the most all time, and Alves putting the finishing touches on that round.
Good job.
Got Cote's attention. Take a look back at round one, and it started early for Thiago Alves with that patented leg kick.
Yeah, right away. That was a chopping leg kick, very powerful. And there's another one, and Cote tried to catch that. Now here's the knee. Clipped him right on the side of the ear, got his attention, and here's the left hook. Caught him right in the jaw and dropped him, and this is the end of the round. Thiago just dropping bombs on him. Cote trying to cover up. Most of these punches not getting through, but a very dominant round for Thiago Alves.
So stop with those kicks, hands, that's it. All right? Yep. Breathe. That's it, that's some more. And let it go, don't be shy, boom. Let it go.
Let's go, bro.
The unauthorized reproduction or distribution of this copyrighted work is illegal and punishable under law. UFC 210, Cormier versus Johnson 2. Welterweights going at it here. Patrick, the Predator Cote, Thiago Pitbull Alves. The Cote corner calling for more aggression here in round two.
Continue to keep a look for that left hook of Alves. The reason why it works so well is he can lead with it, just a left hook, but he also sets up his right low kick with the left hook, so it works very well in unison for him.
Cote definitely urgent here early in the round. Presses Alves up against the fence.
Oh, nice short elbow. He hit him with the left hook again. Beautiful leg kick, just slides back and lands it. Clipped him with the left again. Thiago Alves looks outstanding tonight.
Man, is he sharp tonight.
Alves' jab is very effective. Even though he's giving up the height, he's still using it very well. And that's another reason his left hook is working so well, is because he's using that jab straight down the middle early.
Cote went to the Superman punch. Alves able to back up and out. How quick are those feet on Thiago Alves? Right off the canvas to the target in a blink.
So good, and the way he follows it up with the jab as soon as it lands. His defense is on point tonight as well. This is a sharp-looking Thiago Alves.
Pretty good right hand to punctuate that combination for Patrick Cote. He's not afraid to hang out in the pocket and let his chin hold up. And for most of his career, it has. Pretty good right hand counter. So a better start to this round for Patrick Cote.
What a combination. Right hand, the leg kick behind it.
These low kicks are eating Cote alive. He wants to pressure, but anytime he throws, Alves landing that low kick, and I promise you, Cote's thinking about every single one of them.
That was a right hand by Cote, though.
Nice combination.
As you were talking there, Cote clipped him.
The best for Cote is the combinations. That's when he has the most success. Long combinations, just blitzing at Alves.
Alves going back to that high kick as we pass the 2-minute mark here in round 2 of a possible 3. Those welterweight rankings are crowded. Tonight's winner could find his way in.
Beautiful leg kick as he's sliding back, and that really stung him. Oh, Cote's in big trouble here. Beautiful knee to the body by Thiago.
And Cote lands an uppercut, gets back to his feet.
He's still wobbly, though.
He's walking right into the back leg power of Alves. So right into those knees.
Buffalo crowd appreciative of Cote's toughness and Alves' offense. We'll see the extent to which Patrick has recovered here. Just over a minute to go, round 2. Cote giving a few different looks here to Thiago Alves. Alves, though, able to press forward and land.
Those fingers closed. Fingers closed, Thiago.
2 warnings from Todd Anderson for Thiago Alves to close those fingers. That is now a foul. Could be looking at a point deduction if he does it again. Whack with the inside leg kick for Thiago Alves.
Beautiful right leg kick as well. Cote angrily returns.
Yeah.
That's it, boys. Good job. You see, guys,
a lot of offense on both sides there, Dom, in round 2.
Yeah, it's pretty much been a lot of Alves, but this straight right hand to a right low kick is just textbook Muay Thai. Then the elbow to start the combination, finishes with the left hook, right low kick. His best combination the whole fight is his left hook, right low kick, his right low kicks and his jabs. This right hand puts Cote to his knees. And it's just Cote blitzing down the center line is the only time he's getting caught.
Don't be shy, fucking let it go. Just let it go. Be you, old Cote, old boxer. Boom, put a hand on his face. But he's having always the last punch. Try to finish the combination and get closer to him. Clinch, at least. Okay. Push and get it. But don't get out. Think it's over because he's still punching you. Remember last time, right? Yeah. Let's go.
Next Saturday, don't miss Fox UFC Fight Night. Johnson versus Hayes, the UFC Flyweight Championship pits the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, Demetrius Johnson, against an experienced challenger in Wilson Hayes. Catch the main card on Fox beginning at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, next Saturday, April 15th.
Back up.
All right, here we go. 3rd and final round. Thiago Pitbull Alves and Patrick Cote. We'll see if Cote can heed the advice of his corner to follow up his combinations, try to close the distance and gain the clinch against Alves.
Time! Over here. Come on over here.
Looked like an inadvertent groin strike.
Hold, stay here. Because he was moving, it's accidental. Timer, fight!
Nice explanation there by Todd Anderson. It's one tough Canadian, Patrick Cote, center of the octagon now.
Yeah, Cote is fighting angry now. And we saw that towards the end of the 2nd round. Just really angry at his lack of success when he's getting tagged. And he's just biting down on his mouthpiece and charging forward with determination.
He looked angry walking out tonight, angry before the fight started. Rips the body there, and again, oh!
Right in front of us. And he caught him there. And a big shot here by Cote.
He had it under the butt. I'm not sure if, yep, good hips by Alves.
Yeah, that's big for Thiago.
Don't grab that cage.
This is what Cote needs to do to make this fight a little closer. You can't try to go free-flowing strikes with Alves the whole fight. He's obviously getting beaten there. I like Cote's coach is saying, you know, let's strike and then grab him. Strike and then grab him. It'll slow down the movements and the speed of Thiago.
Thiago with double underhooks here. Let's see if Thiago tries to take Patrick down or if he just starts working him.
And if Cote's lucky, he can keep pulling Alves into this style fight, which would be best for Cote, I think. Alves is having the most success staying on the outside, picking apart Cote. Ooh, nice takedown.
Thiago takes him down.
And that's extra points on the board after already winning the striking battles.
And the clock is very much a friend of Thiago Alves now, just over 3 minutes to go.
I can't recall a single submission victory that Thiago Alves has in his career.
One career win by rear naked choke.
Was that before the UFC?
I believe that was outside the UFC.
He does do a lot of damage from the top position, however.
It certainly does. Yeah, his ground and pound is very nasty.
Touch that ear.
Even inside the guard.
We'll see about this fight against Cote, though.
Well, he's got to be careful with this.
Go for it, don't be shy.
That can opener, Cote has a very quick arm bar. And if Thiago commits to one arm on the chest, see how he's doing that? I mean, it's very hard to do this while a guy's real slippery, especially because Thiago keeps pushing those elbows out, but Patrick's looking for it. Thiago's very aware of it.
Well, that's the good thing about the can opener, is it not? Is it kind of limits the offense of the bottom man. They pretty much have an arm bar, and you know that from the top when you're going for that can opener position.
Yeah.
Patrick Cote wearing it now, less than 2 minutes to go, yep.
A lot of blood coming from the head of Cote now from that ground and pound by Thiago Alves. Oh, I love how he follows up those kicks with immediate punches. No wind up, just drops them in there.
Is that a combination of reps and natural talent? I mean, just such a gifted athlete.
It's technique, it's being taught correctly, it's fight IQ. He's just very, very good at that particular maneuver.
He's always been, too.
Yeah.
This isn't a new thing for Alves. This has always been his bread and butter, and he's looking as good as he always has in the past.
Well, some questioned after the fight against Jim Miller, that ill-fated lightweight debut back in November, if Alves was capable of a performance like this tonight.
Well, I just think, I hate to sound like a broken record, guys cut too much weight. And I think that for Thiago was him trying to reinvent himself and thought he'd be huge and dominant at 155, but his body was just far too weakened. And that's not taking anything away from Jim Miller, who's an outstanding fighter. Beautiful uppercut there by Cote. That's a dangerous punch. And he's winging it up, Bolo style.
Got to admire Patrick Cote's approach down the stretch, really going for it.
How about Alves staying composed? Just same look, same tactics. Not letting him get pulled into a scrap or a war. Just keep picking him apart.
Well, and if you're Cote, maybe enough with the showmanship. Time to close the distance. Seconds winding down.
He definitely stung. Flying knee.
Nice capstone on the fight by Thiago Alves as he lands the flying knee. Entertaining scrap.
Awesome fight.
Yeah.
These guys are studs.
Big, much needed performance for Thiago Alves tonight.
One of the best fights from Thiago in years.
Yeah, man, I agree. Let's get to the fight replay.
Vintage Thiago Alves.
Looks very focused.
Fight replay is brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you.
There's that beautiful leg kick by Thiago, and he landed that many times. There's the left hook that dropped him. And this right hand, he catches him running in, and boom. And here, Thiago shows his takedown ability. Just a full and complete performance by Thiago Alves. And that's where he got cut. And there's a flying knee at the end. And Cote's laughing.
A lot of mutual respect between these two fighters who have been in this octagon dating to 2004 and 2005, respectively. Thiago Alves all smiles tonight. The official decision is brought to you by Metro PCS. Get a fast nationwide 4G LTE network for only $30 period, wireless, figured out. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. The judges score this contest 30-27 for the winner by unanimous decision, Thiago Pitbull Alves.
I'm here with the winner, Thiago Alves, and I'm also here with Patrick Cote, who just dropped his gloves down the octagon, and I think I know what that means, man.
Yeah, that was the plan since the beginning. Win or lose, that will be my last fight. Thank you very much. It's been an amazing 15 years. Thank you, the fans. Thank you. Merci beaucoup, mon équipe. C'était 15 dernières années. Merci du sport. Thank you very much. Thank the company. Thanks, the Fertino's brother, Lorenzo, Sean Shelby, Joe Silva, Dana White, all the organization. Thank you very much, everybody.
Patrick, you've had a great career, and it's been an honor calling your fights. Thank you very much for all your amazing performances inside the octagon. Patrick Cote, ladies and gentlemen, for the final time. And I'm here with the winner, Thiago Alves. That was vintage Thiago Alves. You're back.
Feels good to be back at welterweight, Joe. It's been a long time since I got my hand raised, and I'm excited, man. I'm excited to be back.
You look smooth and composed tonight. What was the difference coming into this fight?
You know, my attempt to drop to lightweight, I got off a good 10 to 12 pounds of body weight. So this weight cut was a lot easier, you know, and I feel great. But Buffalo, thank you very much for the night. And I want you all come party with me at Club Cabezon after this.
Congratulations on an outstanding performance, Thiago. It's great to see you back.
Galera do Brasil, mãe, pai, tô aí. Porra, tamo junto e é só o começo. Vamos que vamos.
Thiago Alves, ladies and gentlemen.
Huge performance for Thiago Alves tonight, and congratulations also to Patrick Cote on a fine career. That is one classy Canadian. Tonight's Champions in the Crowd is brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. And how about John Jones and Rashad Evans sitting together, former rivals, former UFC light heavyweight champions in the building here at Buffalo. Another former champion, former UFC middleweight king, Luke Rockhold is here tonight. The stars are out for the biggest pay-per-view of the year to date. All right, coming up next, the super competent Cynthia Calvillo riding high after a first-round submission win, which came in her UFC debut last month. And tonight, she gets the pay-per-view showcase once again. This time, against Chicago's Pearl Gonzalez. A lot of experience, amateur and pro, that she can lean on tonight in this, her UFC debut. Well, the UFC returns to pay-per-view Saturday, May 13th, and put simply, the deck could not be more stacked in Big D.
Saturday, May 13th, two belts are on the line on the biggest, baddest UFC card of the year. Heavyweight champion Stipe Miocic faces former champ Junior Dos Santos in a rematch of their epic slugfest. And undefeated strawweight champion Joanna Jędrzejczyk takes on explosive Brazilian Jessica Andrade. Plus former champ Frankie Edgar battles rising star Yair Rodriguez. UFC 211, Miocic versus Dos Santos. Only on pay-per-view.
I mean, are you kidding me with this main card for UFC 211? Miocic versus Dos Santos 2. We're going to talk about the heavyweight championship later tonight. But how about this co-headliner for the strawweight title, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, taking on a contender in Jessica Andrade, who many believe could be her toughest test today.
Jessica Andrade is a beast. She's got all the tools. She's a very physically strong woman. She's got excellent power, submission ability. She's tough, and she fought the majority of her career at bantamweight. Right. Dropping down to 115, she is a beast. And this card is so good, people aren't even talking about Frankie Edgar versus Yair Rodriguez. Are you kidding me? That's an amazing fight.
I'm talking about it. And this is what I'm going to tell you. Yair Rodriguez has been tested, but not like he will be against a Frankie Edgar, a former champion, a guy who's tough as nails. Nobody puts him away. That is the test for Yair Rodriguez and Frankie Edgar. How about that?
That's what you want to see. You want to see, when you see a guy like Yair Rodriguez put on a performance that he did against BJ Penn, you go, I want to see what happens when he faces a wrestler who's a world championship caliber fighter. That's what Frankie Edgar is. That's why that fight's so interesting. And another fight that's amazing is Damian Maia versus Jorge Masvidal. Man, that's an incredible fight because Masvidal looked outstanding against Cowboy Cerrone, and Damian Maia is the scariest submission artist in the game. He is a specialist and a constrictor.
So that's the pay-per-view. If you can't tell, we're fairly excited for it. But that's not all. UFC 211 prelims, make a note, not on FS1. These will be on FX. Eddie Alvarez, Dustin Poirier. I mean, how good is that?
That's
Could easily
amazing.
have landed on pay-per-view. Chad Skelly wanted on this fight card. Ask and you shall receive. He takes on Mississippi Mean Jason Knight. Chris Chaco, maybe the best middleweight nobody's talking about. He takes on the returning David Branch. James Vick, Executioner, against Dom, a guy you know well, and Polo Reyes. So,
what a
Dallas,
card.
man.
What a card.
Dom, you got to find a way on that pay-per-view.
Oh, I love James Vick and Polo Reyes. Goodness. I don't know who to pick on these ones.
It's all coming your way Saturday, May 13th. Prelims, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 in the West. You can see them on FX. Strawweight, Cynthia Calvillo and Pearl Gonzalez may be fairly new to the UFC, but these rising stars have paid their dues. They appear primed and ready to make a run at the top 10. With the strawweight division approaching its 3-year anniversary in the UFC, the next generation of stars is beginning to take hold. And tonight, the spotlight has found top prospects Cynthia Calvillo and Pearl Gonzalez.
I will be making my UFC debut tonight, and it is a lifelong dream come true for me. I've worked so hard for so many years to be here. I'm so ready, I'm so excited, I'm so blessed, I'm so grateful.
All of the other strawweights definitely need to be concerned with me being here because I am hungrier than ever. I've faced adversity, and there's nothing that's going to get in my way to stop me of what I want.
Owner of an impressive 6-1 pro mixed martial arts record, Chicago's Pearl Gonzalez is now a UFC fighter as she makes her much anticipated Octagon debut here tonight. A former Golden Gloves winner and 3-time NAGA champion, Gonzalez dropped her pro debut, but went on to reel off 6 straight, including a 2013 win over UFC veteran Courtney Casey that has led her to tonight's showdown with Calvillo.
I think that Cynthia looked amazing in her debut, but tonight's my night, and I'm walking out of this octagon with my hand raised.
Injuries delayed her pro debut until 2016, but since, Cynthia Calvillo has been making up for lost time, staying active and piling up wins, ultimately earning a call from the UFC earlier this year. And in her March debut, the Californian proved that she was more than ready for primetime, as she needed less than a round to submit Amanda Cooper and set up this quick return tonight against the newcomer Gonzalez.
Whoever I'm fighting, whoever's going to fight me, they're not going to have an easy fight. It's going to be the toughest fight of their life. So here is the now 30-year-old Pearl Gonzalez fighting out of Chicago, Illinois, making her UFC debut here tonight. 7-1 as an MMA amateur, now 6-1 as a pro, and very confident making this walk here tonight.
Well, this is going to be a very interesting fight because we know that she has some grappling experience. She's got some boxing experience in Golden Gloves. She's competing in NAGA before and some local MMA shows. She's been very successful with a 6-1 record, and she's taking on a girl in Cynthia Calvillo who really shocked a lot of people in her UFC debut. She showed incredible scrambling ability, excellent submissions, great footwork and movement on her feet. This should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I said, what stems you? What makes you want to fight, Pearl? And she says, you know, I come from Southside Chicago, Pilsen to be exact, a dysfunctional environment, she said. And she says, you know, I got to be an example for my 11 cousins. I said, 11 cousins? Good Lord. You guys know what's up. And she said, yes, we do. We are real Mexican around my way. And, you know, I was like, you know, I'm not going to argue with you on that, but go out there and show them what's up. And she's out here doing it for her family and for herself. She says, just because you start late doesn't mean you can't do what you want. Here she is putting on a show.
Well, part of the reason she started late, she used to work 2 or 3 jobs while raising her teenage sister, ultimately returned to fighting at 21 years old. And if you're looking for wins that you can point to in her career, how about submitting Courtney Casey, who was tough as nails back in 2013? Certainly a big source of confidence for Pearl Gonzalez, the 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu purple belt as she makes this debut tonight, having won her last 6.
That girl's nasty.
Well, we got to spend some time with her yesterday, and that look really sums her up. She is confident. She's got a mean streak, which you certainly like. She is undefeated. Cynthia Calvillo at 4-0. And last month, Joe, when we lost that Khabib Nurmagomedov-Tony Ferguson fight, the Calvillo-Cooper fight was moved from Fight Pass to pay-per-view. She certainly took advantage of the showcase. Now here she is on pay-per-view, back-to-back pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean, she was spectacular in that fight. She showed an incredible ability to take the back from a very awkward position. I was really impressed by her movement. I was really impressed by her fight IQ, her scrambling ability. She put on a show, and she earned her right to be here tonight. Excited a lot of people, and there's a lot of eyes on her this evening. More and more attention now than before, and it's going to continue to build that way if she continues to be successful. She's got an excellent test in front of her tonight. You see her there with Justin Buchholz, who's now the head coach at Team Alpha Male, and Justin has done an amazing job down there. And they're very high on her as well. This is a wild woman, and she's coming here tonight to put on a show.
Calvillo said she's always gone against the grain. She said when she was a kid, she was 2 years old, and they put her down for naps. She would get out of the crib, sneak out the window, by herself, go across the street to play at the playground by herself. The ice cream woman would have to pick her up and take her to the door and say, we're going to call child services on you if you don't take care of this kid. She said it happened regularly. That sums up her fighting style, is what she told me. She says, you can't stop me, I won't be stopped no matter who you are.
She played tackle football with her brothers on concrete, you know? I mean, what else do you need? Right? She is very tough. Daughter of Mexican immigrants, born in San Jose, now, of course, fighting out of Sacramento, California. She was divorced at 23 years old, and at that time, she went to an MMA gym. So somewhat of a late start. She's 29 years old now. She lost a couple years in her career, as you might have seen in that feature. Would have made the pro debut in 2014, broke her forearm, and just kept re-breaking it. 3 times the same place. I think the ulna bone maybe, just nasty. Finally, the last break was August of 2015, and here she is 4-0 in the big show. Ready to go with this feature bout in the UFC strawweight division. Cynthia Calvillo, 29. Pearl Gonzalez is 30. Gonzalez a half an inch taller. 115.5 the weight for Calvillo, 116 for Gonzalez. We'll see if she can maximize what is a 4-inch advantage in reach. All right, now for the introductions, back inside the octagon to Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC strawweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record. 6 wins, 1 loss. She stands 5 feet 4 1/2 inches tall, weighing in at 116 pounds. Fighting out of Chicago, Illinois, Pearl Gonzalez. And now introducing her opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding an undefeated professional record. 4 wins, no losses. She stands 5 feet 4 inches tall, weighing in at 115 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Sacramento, California, Cynthia Calvillo. And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Keith Peterson.
Somewhere in the great New Mexico area, Diego Sanchez is liking what he's seeing from Cynthia Calvillo. Vanessa Hansen is with us. Keith Peterson, our referee for this one. Second fight.
Ma'am, are you ready? Ma'am, are you ready?
Sorry, second fight in 35 days for Calvillo, by the way.
Here we go.
5th fight in 9 months.
Pearl with that right hand very high, protecting her against that high kick.
Very long, Pearl.
Yeah.
See if she utilizes that jab. She's got Golden Gloves boxing background. We'll see if she utilizes her length and jab like a boxer normally would.
Very interesting how she's holding her right hand.
Nice. Small. Stay small. Head movement. Feint. Good walk. Good pressure. Good pressure.
Calvillo's got that right ankle wrapped as she starts to work the hands here early.
Looks like Pearl's looking to let Calvillo punch herself out. Punch her in the arms, punch her in the forearms, get tired throwing numbers that aren't landing. And it is frustrating when you're hitting people in the arms and you're not really doing a whole lot of damage. So pressure, let Calvillo punch is what's going on so far, is what it looks like.
Beautiful.
Calvillo, an excellent scrambler, great transitions on the ground if it gets there, but an increasingly confident striker over the last year or so.
Counter that for me. Counter that.
Calm is Pearl. Very calm.
Yeah.
Tight defense and just letting Calvillo throw what she wants. She's making reads right now, Pearl. Let's see if she finally opens up the offense eventually.
Cut her off. Counter those.
Yeah, she's keeping a very tight defense.
Good job.
And looking to land that jab, but being very economical with her striking.
Now Calvillo's starting to find her way through the defense, and that's what's key. If you're being that offensive, you got to find the holes. And we're seeing Cynthia use that now. Very nice.
You hear the Gonzalez corner calling for the counter after that flurry from Calvillo.
Yeah, we got Cynthia landing 3-1 right now on Pearl. Easily.
Pretty good sign for Gonzalez here to stay upright after that entry from Calvillo.
All you, Cynthia, take your time.
Jab right uppercut.
Very nice.
Jab right uppercut.
Hey, she covers. Let's get the body. She's covering high. Let's go to the body.
Halfway, Cynthia, halfway. You're doing great.
Constant
right
pressure.
hand high, she's trying to hook.
Constant pressure by Pearl. She's not landing much, but she's making Cynthia constantly deal with her presence. And there's a good leg kick.
Not to mention, she's not following Cynthia. She's heading her off. That's exhausting for somebody who's moving backwards.
Cut her off. Stay small for me. Stay small for me.
And Cynthia is not reclaiming the center of the octagon.
It's a high pace Cynthia's keeping.
Use that leg.
Calvillo landing at a 20% clip thus far.
And Pearl looks like the physically bigger woman when they engage. All of those are blocked.
And that's what she's looking. She's letting Calvillo throw her punches, not do any damage, and then you're going to see Pearl start throwing the bigger shots more economically.
Nice job by Calvillo, though, to split the guard with that jab. Now hits with the left.
Cynthia caught her a couple times there. Look at this.
Dump her right. Dump her. Dump her right. Short working. Hey, yes. Yes, dump her right. Hey, switch it.
Calvillo unable to dump her right as Buchholz wants her to do. And Gonzalez bails on the single leg.
Nice knee through the middle.
Knee to the front choke. She's looking for an anaconda here. She busted Pearl's nose early with some of those uppercuts, and that's what you're seeing the blood come from. Good knees to the body.
Take her down, yes. Dump. Hey, elbow up in this. Elbow up in this. Yes. Hey, trip her. Trip her with that right leg. Yes. Get inside. Suck it up. Suck it up. Chain it together. Hey, you chain it. Yes, sir.
She gets the takedown. But look how Cynthia Calvillo is so good at movement on the ground. She's almost taking her back here. Look, the hips are going up high. And if she gets that left hook in, Pearl could be in some trouble. Pearl's adjusting, but Cynthia's tightening up a triangle. She's tightening it up very nicely. She wants to get an angle. Wow, Cynthia Calvillo, dangerous on the ground.
Breathe, you're fine. You're fine. Sit down. Yes, sir. Sit down. Breathe. Breathe. I need you to start pitching. Yes, sir. I need you to start pitching those 1-2s. I need you to start pitching those 1-2s. Nice and small for me, okay? Nice and small. She doesn't have the power to hurt you, so stop respecting her. I need you to step in 1-2. She doesn't have the ability to take you down, okay? So just get through that first round. We lost that first round. We need these next two. I need pressure. Your pressure is beautiful, but I need more delivery. I need 1-2. I need 2-3. I need you pitching your 1s and 2s. I need you going inside with that leg, okay? Feint your...
Look here, you see Calvillo throwing high numbers. Pearl just with a tight defense. Every now and then you got Cynthia landing some big uppercuts.
Out. We're good.
Beautiful knees to the body by Cynthia, straight to the front headlock, and she immediately attacks the submissions right when she gets a hold of any of your head, your arm, anything. She's on you.
Yeah, particularly impressed with how quickly she tried to transition to the back, adjusted, and then went to the triangle.
Emma, you ready? Emma, you ready? Fight!
And that's how they ended the first round, with a locked-in triangle, which has got to give Cynthia some confidence.
Well, Gonzalez's corner said you got to throw more this round. We got outstruck that first round. You got to let go of your hands. And you see her getting right after immediately. We'll see if she can keep that pace going for the rest of the second round.
Nice inside leg kick by Gonzalez.
That was Alex Trujillo in the corner of Pearl Gonzalez, demonstrative after that first round. Calvillo just out of range with that combination.
2, 3. Yes. Small. Shovel. Turn that into the shovel.
She's responding to her corner. They're yelling out. She's saying okay to them. That's a first.
Ooh.
Nice leg kick.
We'll see if she can read.
Upright stance for Pearl Gonzalez. Well, after 12 years of epic battles and future world champions, the toughest competition in sports is back. The Ultimate Fighter Redemption. 14 fighters from past seasons will work with coaches Cody Garbrandt and TJ Dillashaw on the new season of The Ultimate Fighter. Kicks off Wednesday, April 19th on FS1, 2-hour season premiere.
Pressure through that fence. Angle out. Pressure her. Pressure her through that fence. Angle out.
And the output of Cynthia Calvillo has waned a little bit.
There's a takedown.
Good timing on that takedown. Straight to the scramble. Cynthia tries, gets mounted. See what Pearl can do with it here. Watch Calvillo use the octagon to turn, and she does.
That's beautiful.
Nice armbar.
It's
not all the way in. The elbow's out.
Yeah,
so Cynthia's okay.
She's too low. But let's see if Pearl adjusts. The only way she's going to be able to do that is if she scoots her hips, which is very difficult once the arms are going to be locked up like this. She loses it, and now she's on the bottom. And Cynthia Calvillo is nasty on the ground. Pearl trying to lock up the triangle from the bottom, an inverted triangle, but she's not going to get it.
Toes out of the cage.
Yeah, Calvillo got away with that. Gonzalez gets warned. Under 2.5 now to go in the round.
Calvillo's got it back.
It's really just a matter of Calvillo never quitting. Who wins the scrambles in these situations is the one who just refuses to give the position. And Calvillo is constantly that person in every fight she's had so far that she's shown in the UFC.
She's going under the chin.
Nice job by Gonzalez to fight off that choke. Less than 2 minutes to go in the round.
Yeah, Pearl tried to spin, but Calvillo already has the body triangle in. Great control by Calvillo. Still holding the back.
Bridge that, Pearl. Bridge that. Bridge that. Get that over your head.
The way Calvillo's been transitioning, I wouldn't be surprised to see her go to an armbar from here.
She goes to the body triangle again here.
That lock to the back. It's open. It's open. Bridge. Bridge.
Gonzalez tried to pry that right leg away to no avail.
Gonzalez's corner is instructing her on how to get away from the body triangle, turning towards the triangle, and then when it's open, they're yelling out, it's open. They're coaching her through the defense. She's across the face here, but she doesn't have the hand on the back of the head, not a lot of leverage there, and then she's trying to spin. One more time, a beautiful adjustment by Calvillo. Calvillo is just such a scrambler. Pearl's got to be careful of that right arm. That right arm is in jeopardy every time she spins like that.
And Calvillo going to the quarter Nelson there just shows how much she grapples to keep the back, and the way she's able to go from mount to the back, mount to the back.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with her movement on the ground. And her dexterity is outstanding, and that's something we saw in her UFC debut.
Just good decision making in these grappling transitions to keep the position and be able to punch at the same time by Calvillo.
Gonzalez doing a pretty nice job defensively and heeding the advice, the commands of her corner. Waning seconds here in round 2.
Well, Gonzalez is definitely no joke on the ground. She's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. But that was a beautiful round for Cynthia Calvillo. They can't seem to figure out where to put the stools correctly.
There you go. Deep breath. Get it under control. Hey.
Excellent job, Chad.
Get it under control. Dominant 2 rounds. She's desperate. She's fighting on instinct. She coming crazy with the takedown. On the feet, let's let her up with some kicks now. Let's keep the chin down. Let her up with some kicks. We got your side kick. I want to see it this round. Hey, hey, same thing. She's covering high. Let's get that body. Stay out.
And here we see the takedown by Pearl Gonzalez. Excuse me, Pearl Gonzalez on top, going for that armbar. And Cynthia Calvillo managed to pop out of the armbar and maintain the top position. And from there, it was all her. Just beautiful transitions by Cynthia Calvillo. She took the back, got off some good ground and pound, and threatened several times with chokes.
So here we go, 3rd and final round. Cynthia Calvillo, Pearl Gonzalez doesn't seem at all fazed by the bright lights of the octagon and immediately takes the center of it here early round 3.
Pearl has to take Calvillo out if she's going to win this right now, so expect some heavy shots.
Strong leg kick there by Pearl.
Pretty much the only hole that you see out of Cynthia has been the low kicks.
Yeah, but Pearl hasn't really gone to that well too many times.
Only a couple times. Hasn't quite seen the hole.
Corner didn't like that entrance from Pearl Gonzalez. Unofficially 2 for 3 on her takedown attempts thus far.
Ooh, heavy right hand lands for Pearl.
Left hand good for Calvillo. She slips that right hand return from Gonzalez.
Now you see Cynthia, she's still got it in. She's still in this fight, but you do see the punch count that she had in the earlier round, just hitting her now in the 3rd. She had a very high output in the 1st and tons of control in the 2nd. That takes a lot out of you.
There's that leg
nice
kick.
timing on the
Beautiful.
takedown. Caught it. Beautiful. And now we're seeing Pearl flat on her back, almost give in to the takedown. There was no scramble, there was no movement. She's also tired. That's how you know. When somebody lands on their back, you just see the air come out of them and they rest for a second. And now Cynthia's got the better position.
Submission defense is held up thus far for Gonzalez.
Triangle attempt here by Cynthia Calvillo. The only thing that's holding her in place is Pearl's in half guard, and she's on the other side. She's going to hop her right leg over. As soon as she gets her right leg free, if she can manage to hold on to this position, particularly where that left arm is of Pearl Gonzalez, she's going to get that right leg free. Once she gets that right leg free, she'll re-secure those arms. Once she re-secures those arms, she'll pop back over. She's trying for it. See how she's controlling that? Oh, now she scrambles to the back and then full mount. She's so good on the ground. She's very good at scrambling.
And she is just getting started. Scary proposition potentially for the rest of this strawweight division.
Now she's got the back. Just so good in these transitions. Her scrambling. Body triangle again. Pearl's going to roll towards that side, the side where the triangle is, to try to put pressure on the ankle to get her to release that. Oh, she's under the neck. She's like on the jaw. And Pearl gets free. Hard.
Yeah. Great toughness by Gonzalez. See if she can get out of this body triangle. She didn't have an answer the 2nd round.
She's got to roll towards the side that it's connected to put pressure on the ankle. Roll towards her right. There she goes. And Pearl's going to make the adjustment. Cynthia's going to make the adjustment. She goes back to traditional hooks, and as soon as she gets it that side again, she tightens it down one more time. Because Cynthia's constantly adjusting. Her ground fighting IQ is outstanding. And her ability to move and adjust her hips, her dexterity is really nice to watch. She's under, she's under. That's it. That's it. She got it. She's going to go out. There's the tap.
There's the tap. Cynthia Calvillo by submission again. Back-to-back pay-per-views, back-to-back submission wins for the budding strawweight contender, Cynthia Calvillo.
She is really promising. That is a really promising young woman. She's wild, she's got a great attitude, she's game, she's outstanding in the scrambles, and her ability to move on the ground is truly exceptional.
Gotta think when the rankings are updated, Cynthia Calvillo will be among them. Let's take a look back. This fight replay is brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. Dom, here it is.
Beautiful transitions. She goes from half guard straight to mount on Pearl. Pearl's flat on her back. She tries to just explode out of the mount position and ends up getting her back taken by Cynthia right here off the bump. Cynthia does the right thing, throws the hooks in, then transitions to a body triangle. After she transitions to the body triangle, Pearl gets out. She goes back to regular back mount, throws the choke in, is able to finish after wearing down a very tough and game Pearl Gonzalez. But Calvillo, training with nothing but guys at Team Alpha Male, she says, never trains with the ladies, only the guys on the team, and it has made her tough as nails.
Man, lesser fighters than Pearl Gonzalez certainly could have been submitted earlier, certainly showed some toughness in her UFC debut, but tonight belongs to Calvillo. The official decision is brought to you by Metro PCS. Get a fast nationwide 4G LTE network for only $30 period, wireless figured out. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Keith Peterson has called a stop to this contest at 3 minutes, 45 seconds of round number 3. Declaring the winner by submission due to a rear naked choke, Cynthia Calvillo.
I'm here with the winner, Cynthia Calvillo. Cynthia, 2-0 inside the octagon, 2 submissions, and another outstanding performance against a very tough Pearl Gonzalez. How's it feel?
I mean, it feels great. I work hard for this shit, so I'm not surprised, motherfucker.
Let's take a look at the screen and talk us through the submission. You got her back mounted several times. You were able to adjust continually, and finally, you worked to get that arm under the chin.
Yeah, I mean, I just flow. I love the ground, man. It's my ocean. I'm a shark.
Listen, so, Cynthia, you have made a name for yourself in 2 short fights over a month, and we're very excited to see you here in the bantamweight division. You're making some noise.
Strawweight division.
Excuse me.
I know I might be bantamweight by the end of the night, but thank you. I love for all you guys. You know, this is my home. Thank you guys. I'll be back giving you these great performances as long as you guys will have me.
Congratulations on an outstanding performance. Cynthia Calvillo, ladies and gentlemen.
And she has certainly set herself up for a big fight and a high-profile opponent next. Cynthia Calvillo, 5-0, second win in as many months by rear naked choke for the daughter of Mexican immigrants. All right, there's Jimmy Manuwa. How about the performance against Corey Anderson last month? He certainly has a vested interest in the outcome of our UFC light heavyweight title fight tonight between Daniel Cormier and Anthony Rumble Johnson. And there he is, the affable Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, fan favorite, in the building tonight, about a month removed from his title fight with Tyron Woodley. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the boys are back. Dana White, looking for a fight, has hit the road once again. Now let's get you a sneak peek.
Welcome to Sturgis, mother. I've always wanted to do Sturgis. This was the opportunity to go. I'm gonna throw up. The cop did these crazy ass tricks. If anybody can make the sidecar look cool, Matt did it. Leaning back, I was getting sun.
So he's riding on the back. What do you call that? Riding bitch.
I literally said, I'm gonna die tonight.
This is the one, Dana. Come on, beat a bully.
We had fun in Sturgis, and we got another great night of fights. I loved it.
UFC President Dana White saddles up with fellow thrill seekers Matt Serra and Dean Thomas for the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally in South Dakota, where activities include a road trip to Mount Rushmore, a tattoo cover-up, and a front row seat for an attraction known as the Wall of Death. Then they journey to Atlantic City to scout talent at a local show. The new episode, Dana White looking for a fight this Monday on YouTube. All right, fellas, co-main event is our next order of business. Massive, massive fight at 185 pounds. If you need proof, here's the title picture at present. Dom, we show you the top 6 at middleweight. You can argue the top of this 185-pound division has never been stronger in UFC history.
Well, the best part about it is you could pretty much put anybody in that top 6 in that title position, and you're not going to have a boring fight. So no matter what in this division, you're going to see something awesome. I mean, from Yoel Romero all the way down to Whitaker, you're seeing nothing but the baddest showmen on earth. I mean, these guys are performance and super fight makers.
Tonight, the 50th pro fight for Gegard Mousasi, and when you see 41-6-2 next to 13-2, pretty remarkable everything that Mousasi brings to the table. So, back in his home state, chomping at the bit to deliver for his fans, Chris Weidman with a stern test tonight in the form of the surging middleweight contender, the aforementioned Gegard Mousasi.
Chris Weidman shocked the world when he knocked out Anderson Silva.
Then he beat Silva again, beat Machida, beat Belfort.
There's so many questions.
What has he been doing with that time off?
Physically and psychologically, where is he right now?
And what kind of new skills will he show tonight?
The question is, can Chris Weidman...
Even though I lost my last 2 fights, people will remember who Chris Weidman is.
Weidman was undefeated heading into the Rockhold fight and had beaten legends like Anderson Silva.
Anderson. Oh, he got hit! Looking to finish it! Chris Weidman is the UFC middleweight champion!
Oh, my goodness! For him to lose 2 fights in a row like that, and 2 fights by stoppage, has got to test his confidence, has got to test his resolve, and has got to test his belief in himself.
I lost my last 2 fights. That's the reality. It's not where I would want to be, but it's the place that I ended up, and I gotta work my ass off to get out of that and to get back on my winning ways.
But if you know Chris Weidman, you know that every time adversity rears its ugly head, Weidman rises to the occasion and comes back stronger.
Weidman is in his world now.
And now is facing an incredibly dangerous and skillful man in Gegard Mousasi.
Mousasi can now go towards becoming the very best middleweight in the world.
It's very simple. I need to win my fights.
Gegard Mousasi is coming off of 3 knockout victories in a row, including a revenge fight against the last man to beat him in Uriah Hall.
Gegard Mousasi settles the score.
When you win, everything was worth it. You don't want to get beat up. People watching. You don't want to look like a fool. I feel like I'm the best fighter in the world, and I got a good guy in front of me to be able to prove it. So I'm excited to go out there and beat him up. I want to test myself against White. I really want to see his strengths. I want to see what he can do. My goal is to get that championship belt, but you can't get there without taking 1 fight at a time. So I go out there and dominate Mousasi. I'll be fighting for the belt again.
First man to walk tonight for the co-main event, the no-nonsense Gegard Mousasi, currently number 5 in the world, and we've seen a more verbose Gegard Mousasi here during fight week. He wants the big payday. Certainly if he can take out Chris Weidman tonight, he sets himself up for, if not a title shot, a massive fight.
Well, I think a lot of fighters are realizing that self-promotion is a big part of being a professional fighter, even if they don't like it. And Gegard is a soft-spoken guy. He's not a guy that likes to brag. Right. He's not a guy that likes to talk. He likes to do his talking inside the octagon, but he realizes that in order to get inside the octagon with the big fighters, you have to generate interest. And sometimes that means talking to a little crowd. Right, Dominic Cruz?
I don't know anything about that, but what I will say is that Gegard Mousasi...
One sec, Dom, because I know you know a lot about Monster Energy as Gegard Mousasi hits the prep point. Brought to you by Monster Energy. Unleash the beast. The floor is yours, sir. Hey.
That was nice. You know, I mess things up, and he just fixes everything. That's why Anik is here with us, you know? Where would we be without this guy? Gosh. As I was saying, Gegard Mousasi is a killer. Everybody knows that. But the biggest things he has to do with Weidman is create the space, look to compensate the wrestling with the space and the timing of his boxing. He said, I will kick, but I need to find the timing with my hands first, get the space right so he's forcing his shots, and pressure will help me time his shots. When I pressure him, I'll pull the shots out of him, and by keeping the space, he'll telegraph, and then I'll find my opening.
This is a guy, I mean, you run out of time to set up his credentials. Former Dream middleweight and light heavyweight champion, won the middleweight Grand Prix back in 2008, submits Melvin Manhoef, then knocks out Jacare de Souza with an up kick on the same night. Just an incredible list of accomplishments for this guy. Perhaps, though, no win would be bigger than the one he can secure on the road tonight. You can argue, Joe, there has never been more pressure than there is on Chris Weidman here tonight, from 13-0 to 13-2. Tonight trying to get back on the horse and stamp himself once again somebody who is worthy of a middleweight title shot.
Well, the illusion of being invincible has been removed. Now you're just left with this incredibly durable, tough fighter who has to find the confidence in him to take on one of the very best fighters in the 185-pound division on planet Earth and figure out a way to come up with a victory. At one point in time, Chris Weidman was the man. He was this guy that was just dominating people, and it seemed almost destiny for him to gain the title. He got that title in a spectacular way. He defended it in a horrible way when Anderson broke his leg. Then he beat down Lyoto Machida, destroyed Vitor Belfort, lost to Rockhold, and was brutally knocked out by Yoel Romero 2 fights in a row. Where's his mind at? Has he recovered from that Yoel Romero fight? Right. Because that was an absolutely brutal knockout.
And to be honest, a lot of times what gets us as fighters is not necessarily how it affects us, but the people close to us. He's very close with his family, and he told me he had to make some changes around the family, and his family's all in with this. He said he did this camp much different. His wife allowed him to have absolutely no responsibilities. He slept all day. He said he felt like a bachelor in college again, because all he did is sleep in the extra guest room. His wife took all the responsibilities of the kids and the household, so he could do nothing but eat, sleep, and fight. And now he says he's extremely focused. He feels right on point for this, and he's excited for the challenge of Gegard Mousasi.
Yeah, no daycare pickup for Chris Weidman during this training camp. We'll see if it pays dividends tonight. He has taken down his opponent in all 11 of his UFC fights, including Yoel Romero. The takedown defense for Gegard Mousasi is stout, north of 80%. It figures to be tested in a major way tonight. Two of the best middleweights in the world about to throw down in a fight that has just been so anticipated by UFC fans around the world. Thankfully, the wait for this one is over. Let's get to the tail of the tape. Scheduled for 3 rounds in the middleweight division, Chris Weidman, 32. Gegard Mousasi, 50th pro fight. He is still just 31 years old. Both men, 6 foot 2 inches tall, both weighed in at the 186-pound limit, 2-inch reach advantage for the All-American Chris Weidman. All right, now for the introductions, here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the co-main event of the evening. This fight is 3 rounds in the UFC middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 41 wins, 6 losses, 2 draws. He stands 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighing in at 186 pounds. Fighting out of Leiden, Holland, the Netherlands, presenting the former Strikeforce light heavyweight champion and the number 5 ranked middleweight contender in the world, Gegard Mousasi! And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 13 wins, 2 losses. He stands 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighing in at 186 pounds. Fighting out of Baldwin, New York, presenting the former UFC middleweight champion and the number 4 ranked middleweight contender in the world, the All-American Chris Weidman! And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Dan Mergliotta.
Dan Mergliotta, our referee for this one. The great Brittany Palmer with us. Chris Weidman, slight betting underdog tonight against Gegard Mousasi. Weidman is in blue, Mousasi is in white. Buffalo crowd getting behind the All-American early.
Mousasi looking to sting early. You can see him cocked and loaded.
Mousasi has very good timing with his knees. Look for him to try to time a knee on Weidman with the shot.
We'll see how early Chris Weidman goes to the takedown.
Fast hands from Mousasi. Just grazed Weidman with that right hand.
Mousasi so confident in his stand-up, but also his ability to keep it upright. Yeah.
Beautiful jab. Sharp timing. He tried to double up on it there. Got caught with a jab from Weidman.
Look at the balance in Mousasi right now. He's extremely balanced. Looking for the big shot in Weidman's entrances.
Good kick to the body there by Weidman, though.
I like that Weidman's feinting a lot. You see a lot of fakes. You got to do that with somebody who's looking to counter with heavy strikes like Mousasi is. Nice single.
And that is big for Chris Weidman early.
And Joe, you said that you thought that Weidman would have the grappling advantage here.
Yeah, I believe he will. Weidman is a very, very underrated grappler. Fantastic submission ability.
Nice guillotine is in. That's in.
It's in.
He's
deep. He's going to clasp the hands together.
Defense by Mousasi is on point, though.
Beautiful defense. He's got to push it off and get back up to his feet, and he does. Amazing. That was very close.
Wow. Very nice, and that's textbook how you get up. You never sit on your knees. Mousasi spent no time on his knees, and that's why he was able to get out of that.
Back again, come on. That's nice there.
That is a lot in New York in that Weidman corner.
That's it. Nice.
Beautiful leg kick by Weidman, but stumbled a bit.
Leg kick. Nice.
The jab is extremely powerful. Mousasi is throwing it hard.
Nice. Again. All day long, Chris. Yes. Take your time, Chris. Chris, take your time. Hands towards that side. Hands towards that side. Nice. Yes, Chris.
Full-throated Max Serra along with Ray Longwood, Mark Henry in the corner of Chris Weidman. So far, so good for Weidman. 2 takedown attempts, 2 lands. Mousasi was very confident he'd be able to work his way back to his feet. Does again, yeah.
That's big for Mousasi. Mousasi swinging wild here. Loading up a lot.
Well, he's 2 takedowns to nothing down now, so now he feels like he needs to land some big punch to get some offense going, and now it's about to be 3 takedowns to nothing. Weidman's got the hands clasped, so it's going to be a takedown here. He's doing a great job grabbing underneath the lats like that. Creates a lot of pressure for Weidman. He has to twist Mousasi in order to get the takedown. He can't pull him straight out. That's why Mousasi has that lock on his chest. So there you go. Now, even though Chris has the hands locked, now he can get the takedown. Nice defense.
Mousasi, strong defense. This is exhausting for Mousasi, defending these takedowns, getting back up to his feet. And in the past, that's been one of his Achilles heels, dealing with strong grapplers. The King Mo fight comes to mind in Strikeforce. Oh, Chris tapped him. He heard it.
Mousasi lands a jab just over a minute to go.
That jab hit Weidman. Nice decision to shoot by Weidman on the pressure of Mousasi. You'll see Chris cut the corner, try to switch. Yep, very nice. Doesn't have the takedown yet. Still no control. He's got to switch to the double here. He's got to get that left arm on the other side of Mousasi's right leg in order to finish this takedown. Right now, there's no control if we're talking about a wrestling match, so there's no takedown. But they'll probably call that a takedown here.
Well, Mousasi
you say that very disappointed. Here they go. Mousasi looks a bit off balance when he's reaching for these punches.
You're right, wild. Best description for him in this first round.
Yeah, it's unusual. It looks a little bit out of sorts. He landed a left hand there. And Weidman takes advantage of his slip.
5 minutes down.
And here's the first takedown from Chris Weidman. He gets it easy. Here's the second.
Hey. Adem. Hey, die overstoten zitten erop, hè. Je moet gewoon je links-rechts eruit houden. Maar hou je handen hoog.
Okay,
ja?
okay, Gegard.
En je afstand houden.
Right.
Hou je afstand.
Keep your distance.
Ja? Diep inademen.
Keep good breathing.
Diep in.
Keep the distance. And it's yours in the second round.
Okay.
He's tired already. Come on.
Gewoon die links-rechts eruit halen, hè. Links-rechts.
Anything? Yeah, punch the shot too, man. Yeah. Punching the shot. And when you get him aggravated, that's the time to go. Come on, baby, you're looking good. Come on, believe in that cardio. Let's push it. Let's go, get everything.
Weidman used a ton of energy with those takedowns, guys, and that's going to be the question in the second round. Will those takedowns come as easily, or will Mousasi make the adjustment and make it tougher for him? If Weidman can't get these takedowns in the second round, I think Mousasi can get an edge in the striking, possibly.
Weidman 3 for 4 on his takedown attempts in round 1.
The jab of Mousasi is lightning right now. And that's why we're seeing the single leg shot by Weidman.
Beautiful jab by Mousasi, uppercuts.
Weidman covered up nicely, but a lot of those shots go
to the body. Beautiful right hands by Mousasi. Did Mousasi just try to take Weidman down?
He did.
Wow. That's crazy.
And now Weidman able to get a breather here. Furious start to round 2.
That doesn't even make sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he was just trying to prove a point or get him back for all the times he got taken down in the first round. He got emotional, perhaps.
I think, honestly, he thought Chris was hurt. Wanted an easy takedown and looked for the finish from the top position. You put a guy like Chris on his back, he gets twice as tired because he's not used to being there. I think that's what Mousasi was thinking, but realistically, he just gave Chris a reason to be level-headed now.
So the referee gets him back here to the center of the octagon. Mousasi back to the jab, but Weidman gets him down.
Mousasi just hanging on to him here. He's got his arms clasped together.
Now, what's so interesting about these takedowns that Weidman's landing is he's landing them because your head's on the outside of the single. So now a whizzer does not work.
Hard elbows from the bottom by Mousasi. And here comes the scramble. He's got the underhook on that left side. Mousasi doing a good job of using those butterflies to elevate him, but Chris's base is excellent.
Mousasi mixing in some strikes here, but having to work hard to try to get back to his feet.
Takes so much energy lifting Chris with those hooks, too, for Mousasi.
Well, that had to be a huge part of his camp. He's working on getting up from the bottom, threatening from the bottom. Oh, full mount. Not good for Mousasi. This is huge.
Very nice pass for Weidman there. Straight to the back mount, then to the back.
Now Weidman may be trying to work his way under the chin of Mousasi.
Mousasi's in a lot of trouble here.
Oh, he's got Weidman because he's got that bottom leg. Now we're going to see him switch positions on Weidman here.
Oh,
Weidman's got his wrist.
Look at this.
Oh,
Beautiful.
my goodness. Beautiful scramble.
And Mousasi able to cover up back to the center. Just over 2 minutes to go round 2.
What a fight.
Wayward shot there from Weidman. Might pay for it. Weidman thought there was a strike to the groin. Referee didn't see it. Oh.
Weidman's got a mouse under that right eye. Oh, he got hit with elbow. Oh, wait a minute.
So, separation here by the referee. Looked like one of those knees at least would have been illegal.
Well, we have to see it.
I think both hands were down.
They're in the movement, in the middle of movement, if you lift a guy up and one of them is not touching, that's legal.
I think they were both down.
Well, we're going to really have to see it in the replay. Let's take a look here. So one of them, this one's legal for sure, 100%.
Yep.
Now look at the second one.
Kim,
that's illegal.
Have a doctor in?
Well, you know what? Let me see it again from a distance to see if the fingers are actually touching. I mean, it's close. One. Well, we need to see it one more time, please, from that angle.
You get up to 5 minutes, Chris. Let the doctor take a look at you.
No, I need to see it from where the fingers touching the ground.
The first one was legal. The second one lifted his hand off the ground with the knee.
The second one may have been legal, though, if the fingers weren't touching the ground when it landed. Can we see it one more time?
They were coming up, they were down, so I'm not going to penalize you, but you got to watch the head on these, all right? If both hands on the ground, you can't need the head.
Here we go, one more time. Okay, so the first one with one hand down, definitely legal. Here it comes.
He lifts him to knee, and then the hand comes up.
Right.
Yeah, you know what? If he lifts him to knee, then it's legal.
Mr. Banner, look at the replay.
Let's see it one more time.
Look at the replay for me.
Boom. That one's legal, right? Because the hand's up. That's legal.
Yes, I would agree.
They're both legal.
And I thought Dan
They're legal.
Up to 5 minutes, you know, give some.
But he's not penalizing
Dan
him.
needs to be shown that it's legal. Gegard did the exact right thing. He lifted the hands up to make it legal.
It comes up as it was. It comes up as he threw the knee. Okay. So it's a legal knee.
They do not use replay here.
But he's talking right now. He's talking.
Hey, Chris,
Dan Mergliotta's talking.
They watch the replay. It's a legal knee. It's not illegal. Your hand came up as he threw it.
Wow. So what happens now?
How much more time?
You don't have any time.
How much more time?
If it's a legal knee, you don't have any time.
3:13 left? You got 3:13 left.
Well, why does he have 3:13 if it's a legal knee? This doesn't make any sense at all.
Well, I think because the ref ultimately stopped the fight, so.
But see, watch one more time. Watch how he lifts him up. That is absolutely a legal knee. They're both legal. What is this doctor doing? If it's a legal knee, are they going to stop the fight?
I don't know if Chris said he could fight is the problem.
Legal.
Chris might have said he couldn't fight before they realized it was a legal knee.
Oh, this is crazy. It's a legal knee. This doesn't make any sense to me. If this is a legal knee, this fight should be stopped.
It's over. And the reason
Mark
is,
Ratner, can you please clarify what's going on here?
That was a legal knee. So there is no replay in New York. So there really is not a 5-minute rule here. This was a legal punch or a legal knee.
So what's going on and why is this wrong?
It's wrong because the doctor shouldn't be in there. The fight should be over.
The fight should be stopped.
I believe so.
But we can't stop the commission. So the commission's going to do what they need to do right now.
Do they understand, though?
Can you continue?
He says he can continue. Wow. If Weidman manages to win this, this is going to be a huge controversy.
It is. Well,
that is correct.
Without the benefit of replay, Dan Mergliotta did the right thing.
Mergliotta does not have the advantage of replay.
Right. But he did
under New York rules.
He consulted with the officials. They alerted him that the knee was legal, and then he talked to Weidman, alerted him that the knee was legal. From then on, would the proper procedure be to restart the fight from there, since we know that it's a legal technique?
I believe it should be, if they're going to restart the fight, it should be where his hands are on the ground when they're coming up.
Looks like the doctor, wow.
That's it.
Wow. So the doctor steps in and calls the fight. It will go into the books as a TKO victory for Gegard Mousasi.
Well, it should have been a clean victory for Mousasi.
3 minutes, 13 seconds, TKO.
I just don't understand why the doctors decided to call it. Because they didn't know what to do.
Well, there's also a giant issue with this new rule.
Yes.
And making sure we didn't know. We were calling it. We thought it was illegal while it was happening. We had to look at the replay, and it was so close. One more time. Let's look at the hands.
Watch the replay. It was legal.
Boom. There's the knee. One hand is down. One hand is up. Now, watch how he lifts him. He lifts him up. He did it on purpose. It's the right way to deliver the technique. It's entirely legal.
And part of the reason the rule was manipulated or implemented was to prevent guys from manipulating it, which in some part Weidman was trying to do.
Exactly.
So,
correct.
Gegard Mousasi, not without controversy, will get the TKO win here at 3:13 of round 2. Weidman livid. Mousasi still digesting it all, Dominic.
Yeah, I mean, this fight is, it's just stinks that the doctors just call it because they don't know the rules, because there's nothing that the UFC, Zuffa, anybody can do if the commission makes the call. So when the doctors call it, that's it. But that's because the doctors don't know the rules that we have set here with this sport. So this fight should still be going on at the least.
Well, we will get to the official decision shortly, and Joe Rogan will talk to both Gegard Mousasi and Chris Weidman just when things were getting interesting. An immediate halt to the fight. The official decision now brought to you by Metro PCS. Get a fast nationwide 4G LTE network for only $30 period. Wireless figured out. Now Bruce Buffer with the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Dan Mergliata has called a stop to this contest at 3 minutes, 13 seconds of round number 2. Declaring the winner by TKO, Gegard Mousasi.
All right, I'm here with the winner, Gegard Mousasi and Chris Weidman. We're going to clarify what happened here. Gegard, Chris, I'm going to talk to you as well. But Gegard, let's pause right here and look up at this screen. If we can take a look at the big screen, we will see that these knees that you land are completely legal. If you have one hand down, it is a completely legal knee. You lifted him up to deliver the knee. It's absolutely legal. The referee made a mistake in thinking that both hands were down.
Well, I need him. I didn't think his hands was on the canvas. He lifted them up at the second one.
You lifted them up, which is the correct thing to do, and then you landed the knees. So when they were giving him 5 minutes to rest because they thought it was an illegal technique, that should not have happened.
Well, that's not my fault. I don't know. I want to continue.
It's absolutely not your fault. It was a misunderstanding, and up until 2017 with the new rules, one hand down would be illegal. Now one hand down is legal.
Well, he can even have his rematch, no problem.
This has got to be unfortunate. I mean, it is unfortunate, but it's got to be frustrating to you to have got into that position, landed these good shots, have him clearly hurt, and then have all this controversy. What is your thought on that?
Well, I was ready to continue to fight. I think he could have continued, but he was stalling a little bit.
Well, I think the proper thing to do would be probably have some sort of a rematch. I'm sorry there's some sort of a controversy. It was an outstanding fight.
Well, I apologize to Weidman. I like the guy. I got nothing against him. These things happen in fight. I was ready to fight. I was fighting.
Well, you owe no one an apology. You did nothing wrong. It was an outstanding fight. I'm sorry that it ended this way, but thank you very much for an outstanding performance. Gegard Mousasi, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I'm here with Chris Weidman. Chris, you're obviously very frustrated. What did you think was happening?
I'm so sorry, guys. That just freaking happened, man. It's all really, I'm feeling for you guys, but I think that was an illegal knee. Why would they stop the fight? Why would they even stop the fight at all if it was a legal knee?
He made a mistake. Dan Mergliata made a mistake.
Hold my hands. I feel like we're 100% down.
Well, let's look at it.
I put my hands down on purpose. I knew he was trying to knee me. I put my hands down. I was going to try elbow drag out. Why would they stop the fight?
Let's take a look, and you can see it up on the big screen, Chris. When he lands the knees, one knee is up, or one hand is up, and then he pulls you up, and he lands the second one. So those are both legal knees.
I guess you're right. I don't know what to say.
Obviously, you could have been in a position where you could have continued. If you had known it was legal, you could have gotten out of that. You've gotten out of worse situations in the past. It's very unfortunate that the fight was stopped this way. How frustrating is this to you?
Guys, I wanted to come out here and show you that you guys can come back from tough times. When you got freaking held down, man, you come back. Come back even stronger. The setbacks are the platform for your comebacks, man. I was freaking ready to do that for you guys. I'm so sorry.
Well, this is just a very unfortunate situation, Chris. I'm sure the UFC will try to set up a rematch, but it was a great fight up until that moment. I'm sure you take no consolation in that, but thank you very much for a great fight up until that moment.
Guys, New York, I love you guys. I cannot believe this has happened. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. All the people that took with me through tough times, I love you guys. I appreciate that. I'm going to come back again.
Chris Weidman, ladies and gentlemen.
And perhaps he will come back against Gegard Mousasi. Crazy situation in Buffalo, New York. And now live from KeyBank Center.
This is not an easy thing for anybody to deal with. I mean, you got the doctors coming in making these decisions that are on a different understanding than the people who make the rules for the UFC, so it makes a little bit of jumble sometimes.
Well, the real issue is Miragliotta stopping it, thinking that the knees were illegal. Because if he hadn't done that, and Weidman was able to keep moving, or Mousasi was able to stop him, we'd have a definitive ending. Then we could have looked at the replay and say, well, it was clear, it was absolutely legal. So either he got through it, or he did. The issue was that Dan Miragliotta thought that it was illegal, so he did what he thought was the right thing.
Or the issue is that there's no replays allowed in New York. If there's replays allowed, people make human mistakes.
Yes.
So it's like, you got to say, the ref might make a mistake, but other than that, if they could have had a replay, this fight would still be happening.
They could have been put back in position, and the fight could have taken place. They could have just had that pause and gone right back to it, which probably was the right thing to do. I don't know why the doctor stopped it.
I mean, that's the real issue. They don't know the rules, and because they don't know what's going on, they just stop the fight, but now that hurts the fighters.
Certainly asking a lot of the referee in real time to see that type of fine line, but now from KeyBank Center in Buffalo, New York, it is time for the main event for UFC 210, Cormier versus Johnson 2. Well, Anthony Rumble Johnson has had nearly 2 years to think about his first bout with Daniel Cormier. Tonight, at long last, he gets the chance to even the score with DC and walk away with a UFC world title.
This is the main event of the evening.
This fight between Anthony Rumble Johnson and UFC light heavyweight champion Daniel Cormier is a long time coming. Rumble Johnson came into that fight with Daniel Cormier having prepared for John Jones, a long, tall striker, and instead he got a short, powerful wrestler.
Oh! And he gets rocked. Rumble with big power early.
He's trying to kill Daniel Cormier with every shot that he throws. That takes a lot of energy. Daniel Cormier survived the early storm against Rumble Johnson and managed to wear Johnson down, grind him out.
Rumble running out of gas big time.
And this is the first time as a light heavyweight we've seen Rumble encounter adversity inside the octagon. Henry Hoof just yelled at him to man up. That's the last thing you want to have to tell your fighter. Don't give up. Daniel's got it under the neck. He's going to tap it.
It's all over!
Since then, Rumble Johnson has been on a tear.
Oh! Huge right hand!
With devastating knockouts of Jimmy Manoa, Ryan Bader.
This fight's over, and he's out. And it's all over!
And Glover Teixeira.
Oh my! Just like that!
Good Lord.
This time it'll be different. The first time I landed a big punch and it almost put him away, but he survived the first one. I don't know if he can survive two.
The biggest question I always had was, how does he deal with adversity? And when I dealt him some adversity, he didn't deal well with it. I say time and time again that to get this belt off of me and to beat me, you're gonna have to go to hell and back.
He knows that I can change the outcome of a fight any second. I'm still gonna go for the kill no matter what.
To me, Anthony's legacy, how do I continue to build my legacy? Beat him worse than I did the first time. I want to this guy up.
And it's all over!
I just cannot allow him to take what I've worked so hard for. I can't allow it.
the more imposing fighters of this or any era. A brutal combination of speed and power. The #1 ranked light heavyweight contender, former world title challenger, Anthony "Rumble" Johnson.
The consequences of making a mistake when you're inside the octagon with Anthony "Rumble" Johnson are far more significant than they are with any other light heavyweight. Any top-level professional fighter could knock you out, but Rumble can knock you out with things that graze you. It's a completely different situation.
Rumble Johnson has hit the prep point, brought to you by Monster Energy. Unleash the beast. Now, first fight against Daniel Cormier, a touch reckless when he had some moments offensively. Do you guys expect to see a more patient Rumble tonight, Tom, or is that just not on the cards?
I think that Rumble should be more patient, but as me and Joe have been discussing this whole time, he doesn't really have a pullback type of style.
Yeah.
He's all in. Everything he does is pure power, and the reason he does that is because he's had so much success. How do you tell somebody who knocks everybody out in the first 30 seconds of every round to stop doing it when that is where they're successful? The key is understanding, do you have a style that can stay champion for an extremely long time? And in order to have that, you have to have cardio mixed with his power. That is where we're going to see if he's made that adjustment. Add a little bit of cardio, make it so you can last 3 rounds possibly. Now you have knockout power for 3 rounds, now nobody beats you. Who knows? But he's got to figure out a way to fill those gaps when he does get tired, when he uses that power and strength that he uses so well.
The only fight that you can turn to as an example of him being able to do that is against Phil Davis. But he hurt Phil Davis early, and he completely controlled the pace of that fight. He wasn't pressured the way that DC would pressure him.
Agreed. And be realistic, I mean, Rumble hit DC right off the bat, had the fight in his hands, but it just also shows you DC has a very huge amount of mental toughness to get through a hit like that. Nobody else has taken Anthony Rumble's punches the way that DC did. So we'll see how this goes.
Well, if Rumble Johnson can maintain distance, this is a man I've called the biggest power threat in terms of strikes in the history of the UFC. Could be 25 minutes or fewer away from UFC gold. So here he is, the two-time United States Olympic wrestler and the current UFC light heavyweight champion of the world. Truly an elite athlete here, Daniel Cormier, making the walk tonight for his 20th professional fight.
And Daniel will walk into this octagon with confidence that he was able to break Anthony Johnson in their first fight, that he was able to survive the big shots, weather the storm, and then put the grind on it. Can he do that again tonight? That is the big question. And Dominic Cruz, as you said, this is essentially a round and a half. You got a round and a half of storm, and then Rumble becomes fairly human.
And that's the key, is understanding that, Joe. Understanding that while he is a monster, while he is the most powerful man we've ever seen in this division, there is an end to that. There is a light at the end of that tunnel. And as a champion, being DC, he has that mindset. And I'll tell you this, as somebody who's fought all the people in the world in my division, I would prefer to fight somebody who gets tired than somebody who does it for 5 rounds. That's plain and simple. Whether you got power or not, if you get tired, I know I can find a way to beat you.
And Daniel Cormier, more often than not, doesn't. Longest average fight time in UFC light heavyweight history. His fights average more than 15 minutes. He is smart. He is tough. He has never been finished. He's 18-1. The only loss by decision to John Jones. He's also 7-0 when he lands 2+ takedowns. First fight with Rumble, 3 takedowns on 8 attempts. Going to be very interesting to see how Daniel Cormier approaches the first 30, 60 seconds here tonight.
Yeah, I think that's really a big part of this fight. How does he approach the opening exchanges?
And that's more than anything, because in the first fight, we saw Daniel knowing that he had to be careful in the opening exchanges and still got floored on the first punch.
And we also point out this is a former heavyweight who has gone 25 minutes with Josh Barnett, right? I mean, when you talk about a chin and an ability to absorb punishment, he's been in there and beaten many of the greatest heavyweights in the world. So certainly a source of confidence for Daniel Cormier, Olympic team captain in 2008. But really looking to cement his championship legacy here tonight. One title defense against Alexander Gustafsson, looking to make good on a second one tonight. And with that, we have arrived at this UFC Light Heavyweight Championship fight. Daniel Cormier just turned 38. Anthony Rumble Johnson is 33. Rumble is a few inches taller, 205 pounds for Daniel Cormier, 204 for Rumble, who will have a 5.5-inch reach advantage. Now to get you the introductions for this main event, here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. Sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission, Interim Chairman Ndidi Masay. Our 3 judges scoring this contest at Octagon side are Eric Cullen, Doug Crosby, and Derek Cleary. And when the action begins, our referee in charge of the Octagon, Big John McCarthy. This bout is sponsored by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. And Metro PCS. Get a fast nationwide 4G LTE network for only $30 period. Wireless figured out. And now, this is the moment UFC fans watching around the world have been waiting for. Live from the sold-out KeyBank Center in Buffalo, New York. It's time! 5 rounds for the undisputed UFC Light Heavyweight Championship of the world. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 22 wins, 5 losses. He stands 62 inches tall, weighing in at 204 pounds. Fighting out of Boca Raton, Florida, by way of Dublin, Georgia, presenting the #1 ranked light heavyweight contender in the world, the challenger, Anthony Rumble Johnson. And now introducing the champion, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 18 wins, 1 loss. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall, weighing in at 205 pounds. Fighting out of San Jose, California, presenting the former Strikeforce heavyweight Grand Prix champion and the reigning, defending, undisputed UFC light heavyweight champion of the world, Daniel DC
We've gone over the rules in the back. I want you to protect yourself at all times, obey my commands at all times. I want you to fight hard but fight clean. If you want to touch gloves again, do it. Good luck.
The tension is palpable in this sold-out KeyBank Center UFC Light Heavyweight Championship rematch. Anthony Rumble Johnson and the champion Daniel Cormier. First rematch in the career of Cormier. Second rematch for Anthony Rumble Johnson. Cormier thinks Johnson will be more patient tonight, which could make him less dangerous. We shall see. Cormier is in black, Rumble Johnson in blue. Rumble attacking with kicks to the body here early. Now going southpaw.
He's attacking that front leg, got a oblique kick, he lands the right hand.
see if maybe Rumble tries to take Cormier down.
Watching right here, I like that right away. Anthony's corner's like, relax, relax, relax. Don't use too much strength here. DC's just taking a little chill. He's just hanging out right now, making sure Rumble can't pull his legs out from underneath him, but I don't think there's gonna be any takedown here. I think it's just gonna be a stalemate, and they're gonna separate in a second.
The longer DC can keep this in a clinch situation, though, the better.
Right. This is exactly what DC wants right here.
Slow Rumble down, hold hard on that left overhook, keep him in place, make him battle, make him grapple with you. Nice knee to the body by DC. This is all great. This is outside of the realm of striking.
And remember, DC's strength is Greco-Roman. That's all upper body clinch. So he's going to do the best when Rumble's on top. Now he's attacking the legs. When he attacks the legs, it's going to be his best hope to get DC down. But if you try to go upper body with DC, he's the most comfortable there. That's what Greco-Roman wrestling is.
I'm surprised that Rumble's not trying to disengage.
Right. Good post by Cormier to prevent the takedown. And a lot of people say until you feel Daniel Cormier in the octagon or in a training situation, you don't have a full appreciation for just how elite an athlete this is and just how strong he is.
Lock it, lock it!
Thing is, this is what DC wants. DC wants to wear out Rumble, just hang on him. Right here in this front headlock position, DC will stay here for 5 minutes if he could and just hang on Rumble and just take that energy out of him, suck the energy out of him, take the wind out of his sails, and then try to fight him on his feet in the open mat. That's the key to fighting Rumble.
This doesn't make sense to me from the standpoint of Rumble's strategy. I don't know why he's not immediately trying to spin him.
Right. I think we forget that nerds are involved with everybody. And that's something Daniel Cormier also hits hard. Don't forget, he just earned some respect with that overhand right he threw on Rumble. Rumble felt that too, just as much as DC felt Rumble.
And the consequences of this are so huge. I mean, they're fighting for the title, and that's a big factor in this as well.
Right here,
Palm it under, palm it under. White stance.
You got Cormier controlling the underhook, and that's why Rumble can't get away.
Now Rumble's trying to get away.
Get out of there!
But he can't.
Because the underhooks are controlled by DC. This is his specialty. Underhooks, front headlock, underhook, front headlock. Back to the single leg, wear you down, take you to the mat, back to the front headlock. This is what DC can do for 25 minutes straight.
And Cormier certainly staying busy enough to avoid a separation from John McCarthy, who warns the fighters now.
And he went to look for the single transition, but Rumble felt it, got the underhook, and now he can get away. If he can use that left underhook, scoot his hips to the left of DC, get behind him, he can get out. You see how DC locks him in with his hips, though.
Wow, Rumble's getting wild, though. He tried to throw a high kick from 2 feet away.
There was an opportunity to disengage there. Rumble didn't take it.
Well, DC's like glue. I mean, he just sticks onto you. And he's so good at controlling these positions.
Don't hold the fence. Let go of the fence.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's big.
Rumble attacks the ball.
Big kick.
2 big kicks.
Cormier ducked underneath that.
Trouble.
Yeah.
He got hurt with that kick.
Rumble back to work on that lead leg of Cormier.
Those kicks to the knee are a big deal. And that's Rumble attacking the lead leg of DC that he knows is hurt.
Right back to the clinch. This is crazy.
You got to think goal 1 or 2 for Johnson coming in was to maintain distance, but that has not been the approach here early.
Yeah, I do not understand the strategy at all.
Less than 30 seconds here to go in round 1 of a possible 5. The winner here could very well draw a returning John Jones this summer.
And remember, Jimmy Mano was in the wings as well, who's looked sensational.
Johnson had already...
Do they call that takedown?
That's a good question. I mean, he had already started.
I do not believe so, but I could be wrong. Let's take a look at this kick. Boom. That one landed almost flush. And the second one grazed him. Now let's listen to the end of the round.
I was right on the bell. I I don't know if they count that or not.
It seems like he was
okay?
still up
I
when
just
the
want
belt
you to
went
keep
off.
him working, and don't let him build.
In motion, but
Don't let
still
him
up.
build me offense, okay? Okay. All right.
And he keeps doing that with them kicking. I need you punching. Okay?
You got to keep your goddamn hands up with the kicks,
them
okay?
hands go. Let them hands go.
All right.
You
Let's do
understand?
this.
Let them hands go and go to the rest.
DC's nose looks very broken to me, ladies and gentlemen. Just saying.
Shit.
Look, come on, stand up, stand strong. Hey, let me see your foot movement. Your foot movement.
Yeah, it's definitely broken, and hopefully he doesn't blow his nose, because if DC blows his nose with a broken nose, his eyes will fill up with fluid and he won't be able to see.
Yeah, his nose is nasty. Clearly broken, and Rumble sees it.
He's going to start punching at it. And that's when things get weird. When you got a broken nose and you get punched in it, it's next level of pain.
DC going with the high kick, and you got to think that could impact his breathing and his cardio.
Gonna impact everything.
Interesting that Rumble's decided to go southpaw, too. Looking for that left high kick.
Yes, he sure is. And it's because DC has a habit of leaning to the right. Anytime DC throws a jab, he leans to his right. And that's what Rumble's looking for. They're going to throw a right hook, left high kick.
Cormier forcefully closes the distance here. Well, right after this main event, recap of all of tonight's action from Buffalo on the FS1 UFC 210 post-fight show. Karen Bryant, Kenny Flory, Eve Edwards, Megan O'Leary. It's on FS1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. For those watching in Canada, TSN.
I mean, how about the toughness of these guys, though? Both of them taking big shots early on. DC's fighting with a broken nose. How could you ever boo somebody fighting with a broken nose to put on a show?
Well, your commentary about clinch position and the use of the underhook is so important here, Dom, because this is really where it's paying off. You look at that high underhook that DC's using to control Rumble.
And the problem with it, Joe, is that it's high. You're exactly right. The elevation is the problem. You see how Anthony's posture is broken. In order for Rumble to get away, he's got to cinch down that underhook on DC. Now it's cinched down. Yep, and now DC launches it back up to the height. Now every time Rumble gets that hip down, he has a chance to get away. Now he can get away. He needs to scoot out the back door, and he's up. But DC pulls him right into the offense that he wants up on the octagon by getting the overhook. You see how DC gets the overhooks? That keeps Rumble in on him. And it forces...
It seems like Rumble just keeps wanting to get the takedown.
It's because DC gives him the takedown. DC doesn't care if he gets taken down. He knows he can stand back up. He's wearing Rumble out with these takedown attempts. So he gives underhooks so Rumble shoots down to the legs. And now DC does his work, gets the takedowns back.
And Cormier has gotten past that magic 7-minute mark that he talks so much about. And he takes Johnson now, has his back.
Here we are again.
Oh my goodness.
Look about where it's at.
Let's see if Rumble can slip out the back. He's trying.
He's a little high right now, but he can switch to mount still and be in a good position. And see, DC recognize that, scoots his hips back. He's looking for half guard in case Rumble goes to his back. Grabs the wrist control. This is wrestling 101. Wrist control, tight waist, grind him out. Look for the choke, ground and pound. DC can do this all day. Let's see if Rumble can create some space. Rumble would do best to roll to his back and try to reset the position.
Rumble's looking up, and what he's got to be really careful here is letting those demons back into his mind that got in there during that first fight. We saw him for looking for fouls, looking for things that went wrong, looking at the referee.
Right here, Rumble needs to roll to his back because he's not going to be in a good position no matter what he does unless he resets by rolling to his back towards DC. Otherwise, he's just going to keep getting punched until the end.
Those right hands will count. Rumble better move. Now Cormier trying to sink in a choke, bails on it.
He's under the net. Oh my goodness.
And there's the tap.
It's it. It's it.
Daniel Cormier has done it. Cormier battles through adversity and remains the UFC light heavyweight champion. John Jones, no reaction.
Wow.
Frustrating finish for Anthony Rumble Johnson, who had his moments. DC reigns supreme once again, remains the hunted at 205 pounds.
That was an awesome performance by Daniel Cormier. He imposed his strengths, and capitalize on the mistakes that Rumble Johnson made. Rumble Johnson chose to engage DC in the grappling, and once he did, he couldn't get away.
Let's get to the fight replay brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you.
And here we see the takedown. Beautiful trip. Gets on top, gets his back, and does not get off. Hits him with these hammer fists, punches, wore him out. Controlled his position, and then got under the neck. Secured the choke, pulled his chin up. I mean, Rumble's not even defending here. He just flattens out and taps.
And how about the reaction from Javier Mendez, Bob Cook, everybody at AKA. And not pictured, you see DC's reaction here. Cormier immediately went over to Jimmy Manawa and started engaging him in talk. John McCarthy holding Cormier back. Cormier saying to Manawa, you want some? Come get some. But tonight belongs to Daniel Cormier. Unbelievable resolve. This man exceedingly hard to put away, so strong. And once again, solves arguably the biggest power puzzle in UFC history, Anthony Rumble Johnson. The official decision brought to you by Metro PCS. Get a fast nationwide 4G LTE network for only $30 period. Wireless figured out. One final time tonight. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Big John McCarthy has called a stop to this contest at 3 minutes, 37 seconds of round number 2, declaring the winner by submission due to a rear naked choke, and still the undisputed UFC light heavyweight champion of the world, Daniel DC Cormier.
I appreciate you. All right. Thank you. You go first. So much. Go first.
I'm here with Rumble Johnson. Rumble, give us your thoughts on what just went down.
I don't have any excuses. I lost again to the better man. Props to DC. Where are my coaches?
Anthony, one of the things that was surprising to us was that you chose to grapple early on in the fight.
Yeah, I need my coaches to come in here real quick. Where's Henry? I see Neil. Hey, Neil, come in here. I don't know what Henry is. But everybody, this is something I have to do for me. I love you all. I said I love you. This was my last fight. I didn't even tell Dana White. I didn't tell anybody. My coaches knew. My family knew. My friends knew. I didn't want any distractions. But I have to thank you all for being there for me, you know.
Anthony, in the prime of your career, which is where you are right now, why are you deciding to retire?
I gave my commitment to another job, something that I've been wanting to do for a while. It's not MMA related or anything like that. It's just time for me to move on to something else. I'm tired of getting punched by guys and rolling around on the ground with guys and stuff like that. Ain't nothing fun about that, yo. So I enjoyed you, Joe.
I enjoyed you too.
I enjoyed you, UFC. I enjoyed you, Zupa, Bruce, Heidi, Dana, Dean, everybody. Thank you. I would never, ever forget you. And what better place than to end my career in Buffalo, New York.
Rumble, you are the most exciting knockout artist in the history of the division. We're all going to be at a loss to watch you leave. but I want to thank you for all the amazing fights that I've had the pleasure and the honor to commentate.
I do want to say this. I want to say thank you to everybody that listened to me and believed in me, and when I asked you not to come to the fight, you didn't come. You truly respected me. You guys are the ones I love, and you are my true friends and family. And I have to say one more thing. Big shout out to my boy, Goldie. He wasn't here, and I wanted him to be here for my last fight, but Mike, I love you, baby. Peace out, everybody. DC, thank you. Thank you.
Anthony Rumble Johnson, ladies and gentlemen.
And my man Bones right here. Keep your head up, baby. All right, I know we didn't give the fans the fight that they wanted. Maybe in the next life we'll do that. I don't have to boo you, baby. I got nothing but love for you, my man. Stay up.
I'm here with the winner and still UFC light heavyweight champion. Daniel, first of all, you got hit with a big shot in the first round. Is your nose broken?
It might be, but hey, I can't get cheers, so what if I say, you know, this might be my last fight? Are they gonna cheer me then? I'm going. Hey, listen, it is fine, Joe.
I don't understand it. I don't understand.
Boo me. I'm getting money and championship belts. What's up?
Well, listen, you put on a hell of a performance tonight. Were you shocked that Rumble decided to engage with you in grappling?
I couldn't believe that he was actually forcing the wrestling, so we were okay giving up the first round. It was like his round. I didn't want to take that head kick, but I knew that as we went on, I would eventually get to him.
When he did go and clinch with you, did you think that it was a ploy? Did you think that he was going to I mean, what were your thoughts when that was going on?
I was kind of thinking that when Rumble has that big burst, and then he starts to kind of panic. And at the end of the day, he's a wrestler. So he went back to what he knows. Took me down twice, so obviously it was working, but you got to keep me down once you get me down. That's what I was able to do. But man, listen, I hope that Anthony Johnson is not walking away from this sport. He has so much more to offer to the sport of mixed martial arts than walking away. People enjoy him. He's a gentleman. Anthony needs to continue fighting, man. That's what he was put on this earth to do.
Now, you had some words with Jimmy Manuwa, one of the top contenders in the world, cage side. What did you say to Jimmy?
I told Jimmy, stop pretending he wants to fight me. He don't want none of this. He knows. You can't beat me, Jimmy. Jimmy, you can come in here with your bare knuckle and punch me. I will eat that. I will eat that. You can't beat me, Jimmy. Jimmy, you can't beat me. You know it. Don't lie to yourself. I like Corey Anderson, but you just beat Corey Anderson. Sit down, young man. Sit down.
Now, also in the room, of course, is John Jones.
Who?
Guy.
Hey, is that guy even eligible to fight yet?
It's right there.
But is he eligible to fight yet?
A couple months from now.
Don't talk to me about a guy that's ineligible. When you get your shit together and you're ready to fight, I'm here waiting for you, young man. You know it. I've been waiting for 2 years. You got the first one, but you knew after the first one we had many coming. Hey, as a fighter, I respect him. We just don't see eye to eye. So locking me in here with him, that's a favor. That's a favor. He's a good fighter, but still not eligible. When he gets his academics in order, he can come back to the classroom.
Congratulations. It was beautiful. Daniel Cormier, ladies and gentlemen.
All I gotta say is he's got a point. He's got a little bit of a point. Get your stuff together outside the octagon so you can be a complete professional athlete in there. John Jones definitely can have that title, but you've gotta be a focused professional to be in this sport.
Johnny Bones chomping at the bit to get back into the octagon, maybe in July, maybe it'll be Jimmy Manuwa, but tonight, of course, is all about Daniel Cormier, who proved once again that in John Jones's absence, Joe, DC is the man to beat at 205, and it's going to take a special performance to finish this man and get him out of it.
I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed Daniel. I enjoyed him having fun in there. He's embracing the role of a villain. I mean, I don't know why he's a villain. He's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. I love the guy.
You don't choose that. The fans choose it, and you either roll with it or you don't. And that's what he's doing. He's not letting it control him anymore. He's just running with it.
I think the only way he's ever going to take that away is if he beats Jones. I think part of the problem is that everybody knows that Jones beat him. Jones never lost his title. They took it away from him. DC came in and they offered up the fight to him. He won. Now he's the champ, but everybody knows that Jones is still out there.
I honestly don't think that's the issue. I think fans choose who they want to like and fans choose who they don't want to like. I've won many titles and beaten everybody in the division, still got booed almost every time. It does not matter. Fans choose who they want to like and choose who they want to be their enemy. DC is running with it. You got to love the fans no matter what they choose and just do your thing, and that's what I respect about DC.
Well, and Dom, for you, in some part, it was facing that adversity in your career that made you somewhat of a favorite, which I never thought I would say, but we're going to look back at the fight right now. Cormier Johnson 2. It goes to Cormier once again by submission.
And it's amazing that he ate that kick, had a broken nose, and it didn't even bleed, which is really crazy. I mean, Daniel Cormier is a tough man, but his grappling is what won him this fight, and you know, when you see that Rumble decided to leave fighting in his prime, I mean, it's really hard to wrap your head around that. I mean, I guess I understand he doesn't want to do it anymore, but
I don't know why. We don't know what he has at home. We don't know what he's dealing with. But one thing I will say is the only person that I can really see in this division is Jon Jones, if he can get his stuff together and get in here. He can beat Daniel Cormier. We've seen that. But can he beat himself outside of here is the question. I want to see Jon Jones come back and fight Daniel Cormier. That's what I want to see. That's the only guy I'm seeing beating DC in the near future.
In terms of Rumble Johnson, though, we had heard for years that he didn't love to fight, certainly didn't love to train, and I think he just feels like enough is enough. And certainly we all respect that decision. You know, it's a blow to this division, but some of these guys just don't love to train the way you and Dom do. You know?
Well, you know, I mean, he did it for a long time. He fought for a long time, and especially his style is a lot of kickboxing. A lot of kickboxing means you're getting hit in the head all the time, and he probably was tired of it.
It's something I got to say is I respect a guy who can get out of this sport when they feel it instead of staying in it because everybody wants you to. That takes guts. People might not see it that way, but think about how many people are hurt that he's quitting, but he's doing it because he thinks he's got to do what's best for himself. I mean, that takes guts a lot, so I respect his decision as well.
And he'll be 250 pounds by Tuesday, and I'm sure he can't wait. Let's show you the updated UFC light heavyweight rankings in terms of what exactly is going on at 205. This is certainly a seminal night for this division. They're all still chasing Daniel Cormier. Rumble out of the picture. Gustafsson, Teixeira have a main event coming up in May in Stockholm, Sweden. What would you guys like to see next, understanding the situation with Jones, Manoa, and everybody else?
Wow. Well, you know, I'm a big Jimmy Manoa fan. And on Jimmy Manoa, if he can fight, if Daniel Cormier and Jimmy Manoa can get a fight before Jon Jones comes back, that doesn't really make sense, though, because, like, we're here in April. July's around the corner, and that's when Jon's free.
The only guy I want to see fight DC is Jon Jones or Alexander Gustafsson. And Alexander Gustafsson, I don't know where he's at right now. I don't know how soon he would come back or wouldn't. But stylistically, that is a fight he can win if he can want to get in there and scrap for his life again. He's had 2 barn burner fights with some of the hardest hitting individuals on earth. You got to understand, he took a lot of damage in these fights and then came up just barely short. That hurts. But I think that man, if he can get it together, is right there with both these gentlemen. Jon Jones, DC, and Alexander Gustafsson, in my opinion, are the 3 best light heavyweights on earth.
You're a training partner of Alexander Gustafsson. You know him very well. And he certainly is the one man that has taken both of those guys to the limit. Knocked out by Rumble.
Yep.
You know, same as Jimmy Manoa. We're talking about Jimmy Manoa, knocked out by Rumble.
Exactly. So what do you really do? You hope.
Crazy.
You hope.
You hope another
these
Rumble's
guys come back. Yeah. Well, or Rumble, don't quit. Don't quit us.
Well, don't forget, Gustafsson has to get through Glover Teixeira first to put himself back in the mix. And for Daniel Cormier, he's getting married next month. He made sure that the cake testing was actually after the fight, so that's a good thing for DC. But his calendar is such that I'm sure he's looking at Jon Jones next. So I know a lot of headlines to digest. Your final thought on everything that transpired here in Buffalo.
The middleweight fight was very disappointing because it was an amazing fight. And then that one mistake that turned out to be this big fiasco, it left us with this non-definitive ending. And that's a real issue because it was a great fight.
I agree. That's my biggest takeaway from this, unfortunately, is how bummed I am for not just both fighters, Gegard Mousasi for getting the win that way, which he didn't want it that way, no fighter does, but for Weidman coming off 2 losses and needed this to feel good. I know how it is to come back from the things that he's faced, so he's in my prayers. Best wishes to him and Gegard Mousasi. I know he can get back in there, and hopefully they get to rematch.
Yeah, I mean, it was an amazing fight, and both guys had their moments. Weidman was able to take him down. Weidman was able to land some good shots on the feet, but Mousasi stung him, had him hurt, and these knees that finished him off turned out to be absolutely and completely legal, and that's just really disappointing. And we see them again, and Dan Mergliata, we could see from this replay, was in a bad position. He was behind him, and, you know, a really honest mistake. He thought that the hands were down, and they were not down.
That's why I like replays, because we're all humans, and refs are in there as much as the fighters. We can all make mistakes. Replays, I think, should be allowed everywhere. Commissions everywhere need to get on the same page so we're not all confused.
100%, I agree with you.
That's the problem.
Joe Rogan, Dominic Cruz, what a week, what a sport. I mean, never a dull moment in mixed martial arts.
It's the
Outstanding
craziest
job,
sport of all
fellas.
time.
It is,
I'm
no
pumped
doubt
up.
about
I don't know
it.
how I'm going to sleep tonight.
What a night in Buffalo, New York. UFC 210, Cormier versus Johnson 2 has been brought to you by Harley Davidson. See your dealer today and learn to ride like some of your favorite UFC fighters with Harley Davidson Riding Academy. Live your legend.
2 destroyers, 2 outstanding fighters. Junior Dos Santos, Stipe Miocic. It should be a barn burner. Big punches by Stipe and a return by Junior. Another right hand by Stipe. Oh, big left hook by Junior. Well, these guys are exchanging. What a fight. An incredible 5-round war. Oh! This is everything that you want in a championship fight and a rematch that everybody wants to see.
UFC Fight Night. One of the greatest fighters in UFC history is back, and he's defending his title for an historic 10th time. Free and only on Fox.
This is a war.
And one man, Wilson Hayes, has every intention to steal the belt away.
No question about this guy's power.
The World Flyweight Championship, next Saturday at 6 Eastern. Free and only on Fox.
Here's what's coming up inside the Octagon. Next Saturday, it's Fox UFC Fight Night, Johnson versus Hayes from Kansas City. The UFC's first trip to Missouri brings a flyweight championship headliner as Demetrius Johnson looks to continue his dominance against top challenger Wilson Hayes. Watch all the action on Fox, 8 in the East, 5 in the West. Then the following week, Saturday, April 22nd, it's a featherweight main event that is sure to deliver as Cub Swanson faces Artem Lobov. The main card begins from Nashville, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, live on FS1. And the next time you'll see the UFC on pay-per-view will be at UFC 211 from Dallas, Texas. 2 titles will be on the line on May 13th. The heavyweight championship, Stipe Miocic faces Junior Dos Santos, plus a strawweight title showdown between Joanna Jędrzejczyk and Jessica Andrade. It's UFC 211, Saturday, May 13th, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, only on pay-per-view. You can watch the UFC 210 post-fight press conference at UFC.com. The UFC 210 post-fight show with Karen Bryant, Kenny Florian, Eve Edwards, and Megan O'Leary is already underway on FS1. For those watching in Canada, you can flip it over to TSN as soon as we're done. What a night in Buffalo, New York. The executive producers of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC President Dana White, Ari Emanuel, and Patrick Weitzel. Our Executive Vice President of Operations and Production is Craig Borsari. Coordinating producer is Zach Candido. Tonight's show has been produced by Bruce Connell and directed by Anthony Pasquale Giordano. Strawweight stole the show at times, Cynthia Calvillo. Back-to-back pay-per-views, back-to-back rear naked choke victories. And that set the stage for the co-main event. Somewhat of an anticlimactic finish. Perhaps they will run it back. Gegard Mousasi and Chris Weidman. Tonight, though, Act 1 goes to Gegard Mousasi, albeit controversially, but it goes into the books as a TKO victory for Gegard Mousasi. And after that wild moment, Joe Rogan wrapped it up beautifully. We led to the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship of the World. Daniel Cormier, Anthony Rumble Johnson. Interesting approach for Rumble tonight. Closes the distance instead of maintaining it, and he pays for it once again. Despite some early moments, Daniel Cormier is still the UFC Light Heavyweight Champion of the world. With that, for Joe Rogan, Dominic Cruz, and our entire crew, John Anik saying so long from Buffalo. We'll see you next month in Dallas for UFC 211. Good night.